Developing in 26 today with the 6 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
The US President has described Australia as a long-term ally while meeting Anthony Albanese at the White House. Mr Trump confirmed the AUKUS pact would continue, despite the submarine deal being subject to a Pentagon review. The pair also signing off on a rare earth and critical minerals deal worth $8.5 billion.
Australians love America, and I think Americans kind of like Australia too.
Sure, we do.
And as we go forward, I think that today will be seen as a really significant day.
But Mr Trump doesn't like Kevin Rudd, the Australian ambassador's previous criticism of the president brought up by a reporter. Mr Trump asked Mr Albanese about it, who then pointed out Mr Rudd, who was sitting nearby. The president then telling our former leader, "I don't like you either." A pre-election announcement from the Liberals today. They've released a plan to recruit and retain frontline police officers if successful at the March state election. Leader Vincent Tarzia says it includes
a $20,000 recruitment bonus for experienced police officers from interstate and internationally to move to South Australia, but also a $20,000 incentive to attract police who have left the service recently and $20,000 off university help debts for new recruits.
The MFS were called to McGill shortly before 3 this morning, the alarm coming from a Montessori preschool on Lawn Avenue. The extent of the damage is not known. Australian researchers have discovered more about how pregnancy and breastfeeding can protect against cancer. Gabrielle Hodson has the story.
It's been known for a long time that mothers who breastfeed are less likely to get breast cancer. The reason was never quite clear until now. A team from Melbourne's Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre have discovered that a key driver of cancer protection is an accumulation of infection-fighting T cells in the breast. SMH The Age says this vital immune process happens during pregnancy and breastfeeding and can protect the mother for decades. Researchers say it's a breakthrough in how we understand immunity and protection and may open the door to new life-saving treatments.
King Charles has met with survivors of a terror attack at a Manchester synagogue. He also joined with police officers, fire officers and ambulance staff to thank them for their response to the stabbings earlier this month. The Oasis reunion may have inspired some other brothers to get the band back together. Luke Goss has asked his brother Matt to reform Bros. The twins, now 56, had a string of hits in the late 1980s. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
At Agostino Mitsubishi, get $2,500 cash bonus on Outlander, Pajero Sport and new Triton. T's and C's apply.
And it's a very big good morning to Tom Wren.
And to you as well, Mel. We'll start with football. Collingwood veteran Scott Pendlebury is locked in a legal battle as he prepares for his 21st AFL season. The 37-year-old is suing his former financial advisor for more than $2 million. He's alleging that he misappropriated his use of funds. Let's go to cricket, and South Australia's made it back-to-back wins in the One Day Cup after a comfortable 9-wicket win against Queensland. The match was reduced to 25 overs aside due to the weather, the home side picking up a bonus point and jumping up to third spot with 3 games to go. Mackenzie Harvey was unbeaten on 52 at the end and brought up the winning runs. And at the Women's One Day Cup last night, Sri Lanka beat Bangladesh by 7 runs. Elsewhere in the one-day comp, Tasmania remains undefeated after a 4-wicket win over WA, while Victoria beat New South Wales by 5 runs. Let's switch to soccer, and legend Mark Bosnich believes Ange Postecoglou needs to make some key changes if he wants another chance as a manager in the Premier League. Bosnich says after being sacked by Nottingham Forest, the Aussie needs more help around him.
That's something that I would be preaching to him in future. By all means, have the assistants, the 2 assistants that we know here in Australia, Nick Montgomery and Miller Jedinak, but get somebody with great experience who's actually managed and have him on board as well. I think that would make a huge difference.
Meantime, Sean Dyche is reportedly the man set to take over at Nottingham Forest after Postecoglou was sacked over the weekend. And there's one game in the English Premier League this morning. West Ham and Brentford currently locked at 0-0, close to half-time. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Staycation for a vacation? Stay with CMAX. Visit cmax.com.au to sign up today.
We're heading for a top of 26 today, but rain with a storm developing. A possible early storm and showers tomorrow, 18. Thursday, partly cloudy, 19. Friday, a shower or two, 23. Right now, it's 17 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Your old hot water system can drive as much as 40% of your energy bill. Fortunately, you can upgrade to something that's 70% cheaper to run thanks to Right Price. They're the leaders in heat pumps and installation. Now's the time to upgrade and save money on a more efficient hot water system and take advantage of government incentives and free installation. Reduce your energy costs today with a heat pump from Right Price. Make the switch with Right Price Hot Water.
At Right Price, heating and cooling, you can get the price right at Right Price.
Fuel costs, receipts. Why does managing a fleet feel like I'm building flat pack furniture? Without the instructions. Don't ask why, ask Wex. Wex Motorpass is the one card that works for everything. No fuss, no piles of paperwork. Just streamlined fuel management across Australia. Finally, a fix that doesn't need an Allen key. Search Wex Motorpass. Terms and conditions apply.
Get ready, Adelaide. The four-wheel drive and adventure show is on, and TJM is bringing the heat. Score 20% off bull bars, suspension, snorkels, plus the entire TJM protection range. Minimum 20% off TJM camp gear, plus freebies on swags and rooftop tents. Specials on GME radios and Rhino rack, and free light bars with every Rhino platform. Mirrors, long-range tanks, HSP roll covers, and exclusive American truck deals. Only at TJM, this weekend only at the Wayville Showgrounds, Stand WA.
G'day, Alan Gray here. Speaking mechanic to mechanic, we all know that when you're looking to load up your rig or to do some off-road exploring, the right suspension is crucial. It dictates how much weight you can carry, what you can tow, and how safe and comfortable your ride will be. At Terrain Tamer, our range of GVM upgrades, parabolic springs, smart coils and fortified shock absorbers will get you there and home again without a hitch. To find out more, go to terraintamer.com.
Is stress clouding your mind, making it hard to focus? Caruso's Ashwagandha plus L-theanine to the rescue. Caruso's Ashwagandha plus L-theanine is a great combination to relieve stress, calm the mind and support mental clarity, concentration and focus. And it works fast, calming the mind in just 3 hours without drowsiness. So if you're fed up with feeling stressed and unable to concentrate, try Caruso's Ashwagandha plus L-theanine today. Now available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Our nurses and midwives are at breaking point. Every day we help South Australians through their most vulnerable moments. But right now we're being pushed to the limit with feelings of burnout, fatigue and being undervalued. Respectful wages and safe working conditions are about valuing us and also ensuring there are enough nurses and midwives to provide the care you deserve. Support those who care for you. Visit respectnursesandmidwives.com. Authorised by Elizabeth DeBars, ANMFSA, Ridleyton, South Australia.
Good morning. First time caller, long time listener.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
Live from Hindmarsh Square, it's 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
10 after 6, good morning to you and welcome to Tuesday on 5AA Breakfast, the 21st of October, a morning that will feature the Treasurer, Tom Koutsantonis. A lot of questions to answer about the Auditor General's insights regarding how much money was spent on the failed hydrogen plant policy. Nearly $500 million, something the opposition have had a lot of fun with. Vincent Tarzia will also be on the program to talk about the unveiling of his new police policy. Can it stop the rot when it comes to police recruitment? He'll certainly hope so. Phil Curry, after 7:30 today, we're going to chat with an author from Kangaroo Island who's received one remarkable honour and a subject that came up at the White House, the behaviour of China in relation to Australian Defence Force personnel in the South China Sea. But the reason everyone's tuned in this morning, I think without a doubt, at this particular moment is to get the latest on the Trump-Albanese White House meeting. And look, it didn't fail to give us plenty to talk about.
Well, I got along. I mean, that wouldn't be fair because, the man on my right has a big advantage. You know that, right? But I think he's doing a really good job, and we've had a very good relationship. I don't want to compare one with the other, but I'll tell you, they really have a great prime minister. Was that a good statement?
I'll use it in my ads.
Wasn't exactly frosty, David Penberthy. Good morning to you.
I'll use it in my ads, Albo saying there in the background. No, I think that
Anthony Albanese, given the amount of build-up there has been to this trip, and it's been on again, off again, it's been overshadowed by world events and circumstance, and there's been all sorts of speculation, thousands of column inches devoted to how is Albo going to pull it off, what are the landmines he has to avoid. Well, it couldn't have gone any better as far as Anthony Albanese was concerned. This put the Xi Jinping handsome boy compliment in the shade. And as Albo just said, I'll be able to use this in my ads. Not so for Kevin Rudd. Well, the Kevin Rudd, the elephant in the room was the Kevin Rudd in the room, and it was brought up, and it was beautifully, beautifully awkward.
I don't know anything about him. I mean, if you said bad, then maybe he'll like to apologize. I really don't know. Did an ambassador say something bad about him? Don't tell me. I don't. Where is he? Is he still working for you?
Yeah.
You said bad?
Before I took this position, Mr. President.
I don't like you either. I don't, and I probably never will.
What a magnificent moment. Does he still work for you? And Anthony Albanese sheepishly points directly across the table, and Kevin Rudd is sitting there. Oh, it's just an extraordinary moment. Now, there were Australian journos who were in the room when all this was happening too. Yeah, and one of those was Mark Riley for 7 News, who we listened to the whole press conference this morning. I heard him ask a question. Mark Riley, good morning to you. It must have been a remarkable event to be at.
Yeah, and that was a little bit of an uncomfortable moment. I was standing directly opposite the president with Kevin Rudd to my left when he pointed over and said, I don't like you, I never will. Oh, hello. There's nice Donald and there's nasty Donald. That was nasty Donald. I'm told that there was a moment after that in the Oval Office. So they had a lunch in that room, the cabinet room. Pete Hegseth was there. Of course, now Secretary of War, not Defence any longer. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, J.D. Vance, the Vice President, he delayed his trip later today to Israel so he could meet the Prime Minister. He really laid it on Donald Trump, and he wanted to make that point that he was friends with Australia and friends with the Prime Minister. I think there are times where it doesn't really matter who's in charge of the countries. The relationship between the nations is the important thing, and the individuals are the beneficiaries of that. But this was... He did lay it on. But Kevin Rudd and Donald Trump apparently had a bit of a chat afterwards, and Trump said, oh, no, that's all right. No, I forgive you. You'll be all right. Put his hand on his shoulder. And so maybe it was a bit performative on the president's part, but it certainly stung Kevin Rudd. Yeah.
I would have been one of those moments where you wanted the ground to swallow you up, but an affable end to it all the same. Hey, Mark, we're wearing our parochial South Australian hats here. Our big fear was that Trump might look at AUKUS and say, there's too much money, it's too ambitious, it's too long-term a project, we need to tear it up and start again. But all of the sort of defence stuff seems to have gone down pretty well with him.
Amazingly. And I think, there were some white eyes on the Australian side of that table because I think they got a bit more than they were expecting. So on AUKUS, obviously they were looking for a public commitment from Trump, the first one, that he was there for the long haul, and he gave them more than that. He said, absolutely, we can make these nuclear-powered submarines. I've put America back on track. We're making things, and we can make them faster and deliver them sooner than the deal that you signed under Biden. So that sort of was met with a bit of a gasp from the Australian side of the table. So that's full steam ahead, he said at one point, on AUKUS, and made that point. And so, he's in it for the long haul. He says it's important as a kind of a military foil to China, although he was very kind of dovish on China as well, which was quite interesting. He's got that meeting set up with Xi Jinping at APEC in South Korea, the week after next. And he'll be, in fact, it's next week now. And so he was talking very positively about bilateral relations with China. And then in the next breath, of course, he's talking about whacking them with 157% tariffs because of some of their actions. So, he runs hot and cold, this president. But so that was big for South Australia. Of course, there's a lot of investment in the AUKUS contracts there. Also for South Australia, this critical mineral stuff is big, guys. It's $8.5 billion US dollars, $8.5 billion, $2 billion up front, so that comes through in the first 6 months. And there's one of the projects is in South Australia, NurStar.
Yeah, NurStar, yeah.
There's NurStar, yeah, okay. NurStar, which is looking to recover antimony, one of the critical minerals from Port Pirie tailings. And so there's an investment into that, which looks like it's around 135 million up front for a smelter. And, yeah, so there's a bit in that as well. But, you know, that is massive, $8.5 billion, $2 billion in the first 6 months. And that's really capitalising on the timing because China's export controls on its critical minerals has allowed us to get in under its guard, particularly in this big market here in America, but not just to dig it up and send it to America, but to do some of the refining in Australia as well. So there'll be a little bit of value add for Australian industries around this deal, which is something we haven't had in the past, where we just tend to dig stuff up and then ship it overseas and all the added value goes into our customer countries. But this one is a deal that's structured in such a way that some of the work subsequent to the extraction of the minerals is done in country in Australia and some of it done in America.
Well, Mark, it's a great account of a remarkable event. Lucky you, mate, being there for a front row seat view of all of it, replete with the PM pointing at the former PM to out him as indeed being Kevin Rudd. Bronze, good on you, mate, in Washington outside the White House right now for 7 News. What a story to be covering. Great little detail from Mark Riley too about the NurStar smelter and the investment that's going to take place there. That'll be something to ask Tom Koutsantonis about after 8:30 today. I wonder if that has taken them by surprise.
The only reason NurStar has been in the headlines at all in South Australia for the last 5 years has been is it about to go bust.
Yep.
So that is a good news story. Here's a text which I think reflects the mood of others on the text line. While I don't like Albo at all, I'm glad it all went well on Australia's behalf.
I think it went brilliantly for Australia. And I having listened to it, I wrote down four and one with a little asterisk, big stories that came out of it that actually were things of substance. Minerals deal, AUKUS deal, tariffs, defence spending, Kevin Rudd. But the first four... all good. Mostly good. Mostly good. There wasn't a lot of movement on tariffs. It didn't sound like there was any wiggle room on that front. But after 7 o'clock this morning, what we're going to do is we're going to break down those 5 big stories that we got having listened to the entire thing this morning. And you're going to hear what Donald Trump said. Don't worry about what we say, what anyone else says, where you read it. You can hear directly what did Donald Trump say about the minerals deal. What did he say about AUKUS and subs here in South Australia? What did he say about tariffs? What did he say about Australia needing to lift defence spending? And we may even just play that bit about Kevin Rudd again.
The other thing, too, is not just what happened, but what didn't happen. And what didn't happen was we didn't get a lecture about the PBS. We didn't get bogged down in some side issue about our approach to Palestinian recognition versus the American/Israeli approach. We didn't get bogged down in some lecture about the rights of social media and digital publishers to let kids... Like, there were so many things that people were saying this could become a flashpoint. None of that happened.
We may actually get a Trump visit too.
And I actually have been to Australia, and I did play one of your great golf courses. They have great golf courses there. But I have been to Australia, actually.
Come again?
Oh, I would. In fact, I've been invited to go. And
perhaps we could time it, must be said, with the President's Cup that Australia hosts as well.
What is the President's Cup?
Trump's ears pricked up when he said to time it with the President's Cup. He stopped taking questions for a moment to seek more information. He was all over it.
Have you heard of Liv?
It went well.
Kooyonga.
What if politically it's problematic with the US president getting involved with Liv as opposed to the PGA, given how powerful they are in the US?
Probably would be. There's one more left at Grange, isn't there? Tell you what, if the Grange members thought they had problems with access now, imagine what that'd be like.
Well, when Air Force One lands on the practice green.
Yeah, and if anyone complains, they get pooped on, as we saw yesterday with that AI video.
20 after 6, lots more to come on that, and indeed other news stories over the course of the morning here on 5AA Breakfast. Get your thoughts in. You've heard your first blush out of the White House of what the state of the Australia-US relationship is, the Albanese-Trump relationship. Send us through your thoughts. Give us a call, 8223 0000, or text us on the Police Home Care text line, 0448 08 1395.
Party to the max at AFL Max.
We've got the fun, the food, and yep, we clean up too. With inflatables, bouldering, and footies galore, everyone can celebrate at AFL Max. Book now at aflmax.com.au.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
If you're in South Australia, you can get $200 off when you take out a new NRMA Home Buildings Insurance policy with promo code 200HOME. Because that's what a help company would do. Visit nrma.com.au/SA offer or call 132 132 to redeem today. Offer ends January 9th, 2026. Excludes renewing policies. South Australia risk addresses only. Full offer T's and C's online. Always read the PDS. PDS and TMDs available from NRMA Insurance.
If working with NDIS plans is a source of confusion or frustration, there is an easy way forward. At Complete Care, you're given a client service manager. Think of them as a concierge, there to assist and recommend services as they're needed, from cleaning and home maintenance to social support and transportation. They're essential to our clients and always available to their loved ones. It's just one of the things we do that sets us apart. Trust client service managers from Complete Care with a K.
Are you tired of scrolling through countless websites trying to plan your next holiday? The local travel experts at Spark Travel are just a call away and ready to listen, guide and handcraft the perfect getaway for you.
Save yourself so much time. Based right here in Adelaide on King William Street, Spark Travel is proudly local with plenty of experience and expertise, helping South Aussies turn their dreams into a reality. The personal approach makes every holiday simple, comfortable and stress-free. From leisurely day trips to spectacular international journeys, they'll make sure your holiday starts the right way.
So reach out today for a chat and start planning your next getaway with Spark Travel, where every journey begins with a conversation. Call 8876 5121 or visit sparktravel.com.au.
Guard your home. Allergens, dust, pet hair, all gone. The new Miele Guard vacuum range is here now at Harvey Norman. Combining high suction power with hygienic performance, the Miele Guard traps 99.99% of allergens and dust for optimal cleaning of hard floors, carpets, upholstery and more. All wrapped in Miele's signature blend of quality and style. Priced from just $649. The new Miele Guard vacuum range is available in-store and online at Harvey Norman now.
Race into Tyre Power's Great Race Sale and get pole position to buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Kumho passenger car and SUV tyres. Everyone wins with safer tyres. Visit tyrepower.com.au.
G'day, Keith Conlon here. You've probably heard me talking about fusion clinical trials. Clinical research is vital for paving the way in the development of new medications and future health management. This is Fusion's commitment to Adelaide with its team of doctors, health professionals and the community working together to improve the well-being of all Australians and those beyond our shores. Rest assured, we'll be hearing more about Fusion clinical research in the months ahead. Trusted research, proven results. Fusion.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 after 6, bit of feedback coming through on the police home care text line about the Albanese-Trump White House meeting.
Chris says, geez, Trump must love Australia if he can put up with Albo. It's funny.
Called him a great Prime Minister.
He did. One here from Mark lauding Albo, saying Albo stuck to his principles. He was loyal to his ambassador and his staff. He's an example of a good leader. Samir in Dernancourt's not buying it. He says he doesn't like Anthony. He doesn't like Kevin, obviously, and he doesn't care about Australia. The only thing he loves is our minerals. If it wasn't for our minerals, he wouldn't even have the meeting. Another one here. Does President Trump realise what a mess Australia faces with the cost of living crisis and unacceptable energy prices? From Peter in Marston. I don't think Albo told him that.
No, I think that wasn't on the briefing sheet.
Mike in Norwood says, I think Kevin Rudd will be gone within 2 weeks. Trump sent a strong message in that performance that he doesn't value Rudd's presence. Albo needs to sacrifice his man. He's got plenty of others to pick from. I respectfully disagree.
Yeah,
Mike. I think it's probably
I think it's the
locked
opposite.
him in. It's probably, they've almost agreed to disagree, laughed it off. Trump got to have a pot shot at him.
Trump was pretty magnanimous, like the way he laughed it off.
Yeah.
Given the comments.
Trump got the last word. Someone said the other day, the thing about Trump is he's not really an ideological politician. He's all things He's like a bowerbird in terms of his policies. Some of his views are like old school socialist type views.
Completely.
You know.
Well, taking equity stakes in companies, setting price floors, tariffs.
Totally.
Like, this is real lefty stuff.
It's stuff Bernie Sanders has been calling for years.
Completely.
But the point is, like, he's someone who likes winners.
Yes, that's right.
And clearly,
Albo won
in a landslide.
He respects
whether you
that.
like it or not.
I wonder what he'd make of Barnaby Joyce.
I'm not ruling things out, I'm not ruling things in, because as soon as you start doing that marketlessness, you start what they call salami slicing stuff. Where would you ever consider, being on a board? Which boards? Unless it's categorically anathema to you, you don't rule it out.
Barnaby Joyce there has been flirting with a move to One Nation. He says he's a political free agent, which got us thinking. For the $100 Kent Town Hotel voucher, does politics need a trade period, a la the AFL?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Does politics need a trade period? And what is the going rate for Barnaby Joyce? 82230000. We want to road test the concept of a political trade period. Can you come up with a trade that we think is fair for both parties? Or what would your dream blockbuster political trade be? Like, is Barnaby Joyce going for... Would you do Barnaby for Pauline straight up if you're the Nationals? 1 for 1? Do you have to sweeten the deal with draft picks?
I didn't even understand how the draft works or the trade works, the trade period.
Well, who would you swap for?
If he was on my list, Barnaby, I'd think long and hard about even offering him a 12-month extension with a promise that he's mainly going to be playing in the SANFL. Seriously.
We got Tom Koutsantonis coming up later. What would you trade him for if you were the Libs? What would you be willing to offer up from your ranks? Might be tough to get a deal done. 82230000. We want to road test this concept. Barnaby Joyce says he's a free agent.
Coots is too conservative for a lot of the Liberals in South Australia.
What would be a fair deal? Come up with a trade for us and we'll judge it. You can send it through the Police Home Care text line. Win yourself $100 worth of Kent Town Hotel voucher in the process. In the meantime, Tom Wren in the studio with us. At Agostino Mitsubishi, get a $2,500 cash bonus on the Outlander, Pajero Sport and new Triton. T's and C's apply. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. While we're on the theme of talking AFL, you're talking draft picks, etc. A few interesting headlines in the paper today. It feels a bit like the AFL is trying to, put the genie back in the bottle with Bailey Smith, doesn't it? You know, this warning that they've sent out to him, you got to pull your head in. Where's that been all year?
Well, they originally said this is a matter for Geelong, didn't they, after Mad Monday?
That's right.
Which I actually thought was a rare case where the AFL got it right.
Mm.
Like, the AFL trying to be sort of this moral policeman for the nation.
Yeah.
So I reckon it looks like Caro and Robbo have had a bit of a whinge. Well, they did have a bit of a whinge. Caro wrote a marathon column about sickening attack on women everywhere. Well, Bailey Smith did muck-up day, apparently. And I think the AFL's gone, all right, maybe we should have been a bit harder.
I don't know. Bailey Smith, though, I'm all for players having a voice and, social media is obviously a platform for a lot of them and he's one of those, modern players that likes to voice his opinion, but there's a line with respect, and what he did he lost me with the photographer. I thought
at Geelong training.
Geelong training, that was poor. I thought
AFL comes down like a ton of bricks on things that directly, you might be a first offence contravening of certain policy, but patterns of unsociable behaviour seem to sort of just float along beneath the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And Bailey Smith's been living between the lines of what's technically a breach of an AFL rule and what's generally considered a breach of standards.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow he skates by. And that one was the opportunity for them to make a real statement.
I thought so.
They flubbed it.
Yeah, and that way, and for that reason, it's hard to have much trust in him or the system. So I don't know. Like it's a real watch from here for Bailey Smith. But I think he's skating on thin ice in the court of public opinion. I think he's lost a lot of points with people.
Yeah, well, you just don't want people to regard you as a jerk, do you?
Yeah, exactly right.
Some of us had to deal with it for years.
Good on you,
There's a point where you just get used to it.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide. Rain with a storm developing in 26 today with the 6:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Keep in shape with physio-instructed clinical Pilates and gym classes at 6 locations. physioextra.com.
The Donald Trump-Anthony Albanese meeting at the White House has finally happened. The US president confirmed the AUKUS pact would continue. The pair also signing off on a rare earth and critical minerals deal worth $8.5 billion. But Kevin Rudd is also making headlines. A reporter asked Mr Trump about the Australian ambassador's previous comments about him. The president asked RPM about it, and he pointed to Mr Rudd sitting across the table, which was followed by this exchange.
You said bad?
Before I took this position, Mr. President,
I don't like you either. I don't, and I probably never will.
Boosting police numbers is at the centre of a new pre-election promise from the state Liberals. They've announced a recruitment and retention plan. Leader Vincent Tarzia says it includes a $20,000 bonus to attract frontline officers from interstate and overseas.
There's a shortfall of around 200 police already. The government have got these targets to increase policing, but the thing is, if you can't attract and retain them, then you're going to continue to have these shortfalls. So this is about saying to the police, we acknowledge and appreciate and value you, and we've got your back.
The failed hydrogen power plant is being likened to the state bank collapse in dollar terms. It was revealed in a parliamentary committee hearing yesterday that the cancelled project could cost taxpayers $500 million. $285 million has already been spent, the rest of the figure coming from committed further spending and ongoing liabilities. King Charles has met with survivors of a terror attack at a Manchester synagogue in his first public engagement since Prince Andrew gave up his royal titles. Hannah Sinclair reports.
Dozens of people braved the rain to see the King in Manchester, swarming him as he left the synagogue, eager to try and shake his hand or get a photo inside the place of worship. King Charles wore a kippah as he met with survivors of the recent terror attack, as well as the broader Jewish community, before heading to the police headquarters to acknowledge the heroic efforts of emergency responders. Jihad al-Shami was shot dead by police after carrying out the car ramming and stabbing attack which killed 2 men and injured several others. This was the King's first public engagement since his brother, Prince Andrew, agreed to give up his remaining titles amid ongoing scandals. The Metropolitan Police is now investigating reports Andrew instructed his personal bodyguard to dig up dirt on Virginia Giuffre, who claimed she was forced to have sex with the Prince 3 times. In a matter of hours, her memoir will be published after she died by suicide earlier this year. Prince Andrew has always strenuously denied any wrongdoing.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
At Agostino Mitsubishi, get $2,500 cash bonus on Eclipse Cross PHEV. T's and C's apply.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Australia's cricketers will train here in Adelaide today as they prepare for Thursday's one-dayer against India. The Aussies currently lead the 3-match series 1-0, and South Australia won their one-dayer yesterday. That was against Queensland by 9 wickets. Well, a Collingwood veteran has launched legal action. Jordan Tunbridge reports.
An awkward distraction for Scott Pendlebury as he prepares for his 21st AFL season. The Collingwood great is suing former friend, financial advisor and player manager Jason Sarasis. He is accusing him of misappropriating more than $2 million and failing to pay back a $300,000 loan. It's alleged Pendlebury became aware in February of dozens of unauthorised transfers made over almost 9 years. Sarasis, who is boss of the financially strapped ex-A-League team Western United, vehemently denies the allegations.
Adelaide International Tournament Director Alicia Mollick will make an announcement regarding the tennis tournament this morning. Defending champion Madison Keys is set to return. Tickets to also go on sale for the tournament. One game in the English Premier League this morning, and it's Brentford in total control against West Ham. The visitors with 2 goals late in the first half, thanks to Igor Thiago.
Damsgaard, good way to pass. Igor Thiago! And he puts the ball away. And right on half-time, Brentford double their lead.
Audio there thanks to Stan Sport. However, that second goal has just been overturned, meaning it's only 1-0 to Brentford at half-time. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Staycation for a vacation? Stay with CMAX. Visit cmax.com.au to sign up today.
Rain with a storm developing today, 26, back to 18 tomorrow with a possible early storm and showers. Thursday, partly cloudy, 19. Friday, a shower or two, 23. Right now, it's 16 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes to 7 after 7 o'clock this morning. We'll break down the 5 key topics that were all breaking news in the Trump-Albanese meeting. It was, by and large, a terrific meeting for the Prime Minister and indeed Australia, but we'll break down the detail for you. You'll hear everything Donald Trump had to say on those key issues: minerals, AUKUS, tariffs, defence spending. Kevin Rudd after 7 o'clock this morning. We've got a Kent Town hotel voucher to give away. We're asking you just before 6:30, inspired by Barnaby Joyce's declaration that he's now a free agent. What would it look like if we brought the AFL's trade period into politics? And I think there's a good one here that really captures the spirit of this. Andrew posing a "Who says no?" Frank Pangallo for Susan Close. Frank for Susan.
So hang on. Labor get Frank Pangallo.
Yeah, and the Libs get Susan Close.
But she's retiring.
Well, but you maybe just need good...
Well, they get it till March.
Just get 5 good months out of Susan Close.
That's right.
5 months, steady hand, Agent Chaos Frank going out. I like that. I think, Andrew, you've seized upon precisely the kind of thing we're looking for then. That's a good discussion. Rob says Barnaby for Kevin Rudd in a future second or third, and if not, pick him up in the pre-season draft.
The Calamachi model.
I don't know if it's fair or not, but I'd love to see how Kevin would get on in the Nationals.
Oh, well, he's the smartest guy in the room. They'd be able to benefit from his pearls of wisdom.
That said, I actually think Barnaby, as the Australian ambassador to the US into the Trump administration, is probably a perfect fit.
Mark in Wyala thinks we should send Albo to China as a delisted free agent. That's a bit hard. They've already got Kevin Andrews. Oh, sorry, Dan Andrews. They haven't got Kevin Andrews.
Certainly not Kevin Andrews.
Liberal conservative. God rest his soul. Lovely man. But no, they've got Dan Andrews and they're working on Jacinta Allen as well.
Oh, Dave from Alberton's got a multi-part trade. He says the Nationals give up Joyce in a future upper house seat for Roberts. Palmer gives Babbitt and gets the future upper house seat. One Nation end up with Joyce and Babbitt for Roberts and a future seat. Dave from Melbourne. Dave, you get it.
That's good.
You just get it. 8223 Win yourself a Kent Town hotel voucher. Come up with a political trade for us if inspired by Barnaby Joyce's free agency. Let's get serious for a moment because things got potentially deadly over the South China Sea. A Chinese fighter jet, in something that's now, if not a pattern, something that's happened on a number of occasions, released flares dangerously close to an Australian a bit of defence kit, a P-8 Poseidon, one of these maritime patrol aircrafts. Notably, it wasn't damaged. No one was injured, but the potential was there for a disaster. Jennifer Parker for the ANU's National Security College joins us. Jennifer, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
So, Jennifer, this is the backdrop to this. We think back 2 months ago, the Prime Minister was in China. The meeting with Xi Jinping went extremely well. He said he had no reason not to trust China. Does this suggest that we kind of still do?
Look, we have certain significant security challenges when it comes to China. I think it's fair to say that the diplomatic and the economic relationship have stabilised. I think there's been a good effort by the government, but the fact is the security relationship hasn't stabilised. And it's not likely to anytime soon. And at its core, our national interests are at odds with China's. China is building up the largest military in the world, and it is increasingly aggressively using it in Northeast Asia and the South China Sea. And earlier this year, we saw them circumnavigate Australia, which is not a problem in itself, but the Chinese naval ships that did that interrupted one of our air lanes, causing 49 aircraft to divert. This challenge is only getting harder, not easier. And in fact, in Senate estimates about a week and a half ago, we saw the senior Department of Defence officials talk about how there was an increased risk of an incident and our region is deteriorating. So, yes, the economic and diplomatic relationships are better, but the security relationship is still incredibly challenged.
I mean, it doesn't even bear thinking about what would happen next if say one of our jets got knocked over by one of these ships doing something like this, or one of these jets doing something like this. I mean, particularly in a world where Trump is so volatile and so so hawkish towards China?
Well, he has been volatile, certainly, but in fact, in his meeting with Anthony Albanese, I'm sure everybody wasn't up watching that at 2 a.m. this morning, he seemed to think the China relationship with the US was good. But look, it isn't. And I guess, when we think about what's happening in the world, we are seeing states increasingly use military force to settle their problems. We've seen it in Europe, we've seen it in the Middle East, we've seen it between India and Pakistan, Thailand and Cambodia. We've seen it broadly. The second thing we're seeing is China using military force to increasingly assert what they think are their interests in the region. But that includes claiming 90% of the South China Sea, which is, some areas of that are over 800 nautical miles from China and important areas for Australia's maritime trade. But you're right, one of these incidents, we're very lucky that one of these incidents hasn't resulted in a more significant injury or loss of life for about ADF women and men. These flares that were deployed in front of a maritime patrol aircraft, they're not for the first time. It could be ingested by an engine. They could damage the blades. They could damage the airflow. That aircraft could crash. So these are really serious incidents. And I would highlight too, although the Australian government has released 6 of these involving ships and aircraft over the last 3 years, it is unlikely that there are only 6. And I think this is part of a wider campaign of harassment that's been going on for a decade.
Well, just on that point, Jennifer, what's the upside for China on these sorts of incidents? Because we can see the dramatic downside, and we're not the only ones. This is not the only incident. There have been flares in the sky. There have been our divers being targeted by a sonar that was designed to deafen them. We've had collisions between vessels from China and the Philippines in the South China Sea. I mean, every one of these incidents could trigger a significant escalation of hostilities in the area. But to what end are they being pursued? What's the upside?
Yeah, look, I think China's increasingly clear that they don't believe that any military assets from any country should be operating in the South China Sea or Northeast Asia more broadly. So they will aggressively pursue that policy, which is why they are undertaking this. The upside is they think it shows them as a strong power that creates a deterrent effect that other countries are unlikely to interfere with. And if you think about some of China's statements about the reunification of Taiwan or the South China Sea being a core interest and being part of China, you can see what they're trying to achieve. And they are building up a substantial military to be prepared for the potential conflict. And as much as, look, I don't think conflict is inevitable and I don't think it's going to start tomorrow, our own strategic documentation, our own warning from the government is that it is increasingly likely. And that is a significant thing for Australia to be thinking about and something that we haven't really had to grapple with since World War II. And that's why our leaders say this is our most significant strategic circumstance since World War II. So, look, I don't want to scare your listeners and think that we're going to be in a major conflict anytime soon, but I think they should be aware of the fact that the world is fundamentally changing and Australia's security environment is fundamentally changing.
Don't worry about scaring our listeners, Jennifer. We'll be back to making daft jokes about football soon enough, but we appreciate your top-shelf analysis. That was a fascinating chat there. Thank you. Jennifer Parker from the ANU's National Security College in Canberra.
Speaking of daft comments, in the meantime, we're given the propensity for Australian politicians in recent times to switch sides, become independents, declare new parties, and even in Barnaby Joyce's case, declare himself a free agent. We're imagining what a political trade period a la the AFL might look like. Some very imaginative concepts being brought to us on the Police Home Care text line. Dave in Blakeview's got one for us. Morning, Dave.
G'day, boys. If I was Albo, I'd give Tony Burke, Miles, Watt, Penny Wong, Gallagher for James Patterson.
You trade them all like a 5-for-1 deal.
Wow. Get rid of the whole bloody front bench and I'll have James Patterson. And another question, who was the treasurer that just pulled the pin? Was that Mulligan?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. When the hydro plant went kaput, didn't he say that the money that was earmarked for that went back into Whyalla, was going into Whyalla? Is that still the case?
That is correct.
So that's still the case. And the other day, Jane Hume was on about uranium not being on the critical minerals list. Why is that?
I don't know.
Why would that?
No idea.
a query for Mr. Copperman, Peter.
Yeah. Good on you, Dave. I think, I don't think there's anything nefarious there. I think it's largely the critical minerals is because of it's all these rare earths and things that are making batteries and semiconductors and solar panels and so forth. But we'll ask the question, Dave. It's a good point you make.
One here, no name given, but I like it. I think Geelong will pick up David Spears, give him a chance of redemption. Imagine that. Imagine being out at some Geelong nightclub and in walk Tyson Stengel, Bailey Smith and David Spears. You go, watch out.
This has turned dark, this segment.
Well, what about the one referencing Harold Holt? I don't think we can read that out.
Yeah.
Because it's too cruel,
guys,
to both parties.
Harold Holt's not on the trade table, all right?
But Gavin,
there's a sentence I didn't think I was going to have to say this morning.
You made us laugh. And Tim in Greenwood says we should trade Coots for 12 demerit points and a driving lesson.
Thank you for that. Keep your trades coming through. Underall a Kent Town Hotel voucher it for someone. This is growing on me, this concept. I think we need the political trade period. All right, let's.
Don't you reckon if Barnaby did get picked up, he'd get put on a Bailey Smith style behavioural contract?
Oh,
no more face planting into garden beds.
Maybe it might be if a minor party picked him up, they might appreciate that kind of publicity.
Bit of profile.
They might see more planter pots.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if you join the Greens, because they're all just whinging about the end of the world most of the time.
They need a little
bit of edge.
A bit of personality.
That's right.
Come on. All right, let's check traffic. Browse undercover in comfort for your certified pre-owned Toyota at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Summerton Park.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Roads are wet due to passing showers. Going to get a bit heavier throughout the morning, so take it easy. Burst Automated St Agnes, Hancock Road near Francis Street. Major gasworks this morning at Hawthorne, Cross Road near Denning Street, and got road plates in use this morning at Glen Osmond. Port Race Road near Glen Osmond Road, just at the bottom of the freeway. Cameras Lines Road, Holden Hill, and Perseverance Road at Vista this morning. Do you or someone you care for need complex mental health support? Sane can help. Choose from a range of free digital and telehealth support services. Visit sane.org today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The biggest serve of the season returns as the Adelaide International hits home from January 12 to 17. Some of the biggest names in tennis compete in a world-class event under the roof at the Drive. Plus live music, delicious food, refreshing drinks and premium courtside experiences. And another massive Kids' Day to kick off the event. Summer starts courtside in Adelaide. Tickets from just $10 and kids free for select sessions. Book now at Ticketmaster.
Steinborner has done it again. The Jack T9 Ute has landed at Jack Motors in Gawler. Enjoy a 5-star ANCAP safety rating, 7-year unlimited K warranty, 7-year roadside assist and 7-year capped price servicing. The Jack T9 impresses with a turbocharged diesel engine, 4x4 dual-range transmission, 3-tonne towing capacity, and it can easily handle a full-size Aussie pallet with a 1,045-kilo payload. All this from $39,990 drive away. Jack Motors. It's well worth the trip. Gawler, Barossa and Clare, or at gawlerjackmotors.com.au.
You don't just do a good barbie, you're the tong master. You're not just flipping snags. You've earned the title Backyard Hospitality Director, so you deserve the very best outdoor kitchen from Adelaide Outdoor Kitchens.
Choose from the best appliances, add a bar fridge or a pizza oven, or stun your guests with one of their custom-made concrete bench tops. They do indoor concrete bench tops too. These handmade bench tops can really update any kitchen space, custom made for you, every piece unique, especially for you.
Call for a consultation and quote today or visit the Seaford Meadows showroom on Farrow Circuit. The best backyard hospitality directors choose Adelaide Outdoor Kitchens. Go to adelaideoutdoorkitchens.com.au.
Imagine you have a dog bounding across your garden of lush green turf. He jumps, he rolls, he lays on his back, feet in the air and gives himself a good old scratch. A dog really knows how to appreciate grass. And you can appreciate yours every day when you lay lawn in your garden from the Turf Farm. The Turf Farm plant it, nurture it, harvest it, deliver it. And importantly, they guarantee it. Trust the Turf Farm. Go to theturffarm.com.au.
At Blackwell Funerals, we care about what matters most. When it comes to saying goodbye, we're here with compassion, dignity and support. Visit blackwellfunerals.com.au to learn more.
The Phil Hoffman Travel Expo is back this Sunday. It's the biggest and best travel event in Adelaide, hosted by Adelaide, with over 60 worldwide tour operators, cruise lines, airlines and travel experts. Enjoy inspiring travel talks, early bird discounts, one-day only deals, booking bonuses, including a glass of bubbles. Plus, win one of 5 incredible holiday prizes. The Phil Hoffman Travel Expo this Sunday at the Adelaide Convention Centre. Entry is free. Register at pht.com.au.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 minutes to 7. Let's head to the Weather Bureau. Jenny Horvat is on duty for a day that, well, it could be quite something, Jenny. What's the latest information telling you about the amount of rain and the storms we might get or may not get today?
Yeah, look, it's going to be an interesting day coming up. We're already seeing a lot of lightning across our western districts, so expecting to see some of that coming into the city. So a cloudy start out there. We've got a bit of that patchy rain starting, and we will expect to see that just thickening up as the day progresses. So weather... couple of things going on. So I've got this trough coming across, and then we've got this deep low pressure system that'll be moving across waters to the south during the course of the day and getting closer to sort of central districts and the metropolitan areas we head into the evening. So initially that cloud out there, that sort of patchy rain, maybe a little bit more intense than yesterday with that, and then potentially seeing some storms developing during the course of the morning. But it's as that low gets closer this evening that we're really probably expecting to see those storms coming through. They could be a bit gusty. We've got our severe weather team monitoring for severity, so keep an eye out on warnings, most likely around western districts, but we couldn't rule that out here for the city. And with that, those rainfall tools could be a little bit more significant with that. So we could be seeing around 30 millimetres or so potentially with those storms, maybe a little bit more in times. But as that low sits a little bit further south, they may stay south of the city with those heavier falls, but it's just going to be a highly variable situation with that. We've got maximum temperatures penciled into the 20s, but I think we'll struggle again like we did yesterday with that cloud and that rain around. Currently it is 15.5 degrees in the city there, guys. And as we head on with that low coming in, could get gusty around the Mount Lofty Ranges, especially this evening and in the early hours of tomorrow, but we should be settling down relatively quickly as we head into Wednesday. Potentially a dry day Thursday, maybe another system coming towards the end of the week. Keep up to date with the warnings on the website and the app today.
Good on you, Jenny.
Thanks, Jenny.
I think
I'm looking forward to this weather.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Hopefully it's significant and nice and wet. Just noting, I don't think it's weather related. It might well be, but we've suddenly got a whole whack of texts from people on the Southern Expressway saying it's either to a crawl or from Ranella or just past Sheriff Road, very slow for inbound. We're going to try and get to the bottom of why that's the case. Maybe if you're in the area and you've got eyes on what the cause of all that is, give us a buzz. We'd love to hear from you. 8223 0000, the number. In the meantime, let's head to Sapole. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes is on the line. Rebecca, it's been a stabbing at Croydon Park.
Yes, so just before 2 a.m. this morning, police and paramedics were called to Hudson Avenue at Croydon Park after reports of a man having been stabbed in his chest following an altercation with another man. A 54-year-old Croydon Park man was taken to hospital for treatment, and luckily his injury is only superficial. A 53-year-old Croydon Park man was arrested and charged with aggravated assault, and he'll face court in December. And we just want to reassure the community this was not a random incident, that these men are both known to each other. But yeah, quite a violent incident there at Croydon Park overnight.
Unpleasant. Rebecca, also an alleged drunk driver has been nabbed in the CBD.
Yes, this man was allegedly under the influence of drugs when security cameras detected him driving erratically with his lights off and not responding to traffic light changes around 4:45 this morning in Gouger Street. A patrol stopped and spoke to the driver near Victoria Square, and it will be alleged that the man was under the influence of drugs, and when police searched his vehicle, they found drug paraphernalia. A police checks revealed that the 36-year-old prospect man also had an outstanding warrant. He's been arrested and charged with driving under the influence, refused police bail, and he'll face court today. He's also been issued with a drug diversion and had his car impounded for 28 days. So a good pick-up by the people monitoring the security cameras overnight.
Great stuff, Beck. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes there from Sapole.
All right, let's go to Steve from Morfett Vale. Morning to you, Steve.
G'day, boys. I've just driven down the Southern Expressway around the Ranella sort of just before actually right on the Ranella bypass there, on the Southern Expressway heading south. 2 cars have had a rear ender, and they've moved to the centre parkway in the centre of the road, pretty much. Not on the left-hand side, but on the middle of the road, basically. So it's nothing major, but it's the rear ender and traffic's banking up. I just made it through there just as it happened, basically. So.
Good stuff, Steve. Thank you for that, mate. Appreciate your account. 8223 is the number. Simon on the Police Home Care text line has suggested for Political Trade Week we might trade Ben Hood for Lucy Hood. Could Ben get along with the hippie green city folk? Could Lucy gain support from the Liberal right faction? It'd be like some sort of sociological experiment. Thank you for that. Well, Ben Hood has a part in this next story back at its genesis. Simone Kane from Penola, one of the most beautiful towns in South Australia, started writing a book series, George the Farmer, for children back in 2012 with Ben Hood, because Simone didn't think there was really great agricultural content for kids out there. So she started writing the series. Well, the series, now into its 14th iteration, has had a huge win. Kangaroo Cornfield, the 14th book in the series, has just been added to the United States National Agricultural Literacy Curriculum Matrix, which means 4.8 million students across all 50 US states will be reading the book, written, illustrated, produced here in South Australia. Simone Kane joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Simone, congratulations. How did this come to pass?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. Well, it's been a bit of an ongoing journey. I've been having chats with people in the US for a few years now, teachers, farmers and educators. And when this new book that I've just written, Kangaroo Cornfield, so it includes George going over to the US. He visits his cousin Laura. They discover a fungus in her corn crop, and they decide to map it out on the GPS. And when they map it out, George realises that it's in the shape of a kangaroo, funnily enough. And so they harvest out the crop, and then they open it up for a community day, and it's a kangaroo corn maze. And the kids and community learn all different facts and figures around corn. So this was how I sort of thought would be a good way to launch George into the US, to have him visit someone in the US and discover some sort of issue. So in all of our picture storybooks, basically it follows George, Ruby, his wife, who's an agronomist, and their 2 twins, and they visit, it's either a problem on their farm or their mates' farms around Australia generally, that they need to work together and come up with a solution for.
I tell you what, Simone, it's a clever idea because there's not much relatability in most children's books for kids. You know, there's creatures that are firefighters and police and teachers and chefs, but to have something that has a degree of richness about rural careers is novel.
Yeah, kids really resonate with farming, whether they come from a farming background or not. They love animals. A lot of, especially boys, love machinery, and most kids love food. They're really inquisitive about it. So George is actually just a really natural way to get kids excited about education. The picture books are all really fun, but we've got a whole platform with George the Farmer that includes the picture storybooks that are fun, but they have educational information through them. And then we have paddock to plate videos that you can find on the ABC or YouTube. And so we go out to real life farms right across Australia, and we do singing and dancing with real farmers, which is really funny. We get farmers up dancing, and we learn how different food and fibre is produced in these 7-minute little videos. We have music, which you can find on streaming platforms. We've got our latest song and video, actually, that's about to come out at the end of this month. We went up to Cairns about a month or so ago and shot a new video for Cane Growers Australia on sugarcane. So that will be out very soon. And we've got a new song called Sugarcane Train. And then we also have paddock to plate educational resources for teachers to use in the classroom, which are totally free to download from our website. And so that helps educate kids about where the food and fibre comes from, while the teachers can tick off on their learning outcomes of STEM. And we also do performance. So we just did the Royal Adelaide show, which was awesome. We had Perth not long ago, and tomorrow we're heading off to Hobart.
Well, it's fantastic. And look, we could not be prouder of you. It's a big coup for you, Simone, and also for Penola, and great to hear that rural communities and rural workers are getting this sort of recognition. Simone Kane there about the sensational news that George the Farmer's busted into the US market.
And we're going to take a break. 5AA News is coming up on the other side of it. We break down the 5 big stories that came out of the Trump-Albanese meeting. You'll hear Donald Trump's take on each next.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
The latest local, national and international news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Rain with a storm developing, 26 today with a 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
The much-anticipated Anthony Albanese-Donald Trump face-to-face has taken place at the White House. The US President describing Australia as a long-term ally when touching on our relationship. Mr Trump confirmed the AUKUS pact would continue, despite the submarine deal being subject to a Pentagon review.
We've been long-time allies, and I would say there's never been anybody better. We fought wars together. We never had any doubts, and it's a great honour to have you as my friend.
During the meeting, the pair signed off on a rare earth and critical minerals deal worth $8.5 billion. But Kevin Rudd stole the show when the pair faced questions. The Australian ambassador's previous criticism was brought up. Mr Trump asking Mr Albanese, who then pointed out Mr Rudd sitting on the other side of the table. The president telling our former leader, "I don't like you either." There's been a stabbing at Croydon Park. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says they were called to Hudson Avenue shortly before 2 this morning, following reports of an altercation between 2 men, one having been stabbed in the chest.
A 54-year-old Croydon Park man was taken to hospital for treatment, and luckily his injury is only superficial. And we just want to reassure the community this was not a random incident, that these men are both known to each other.
A 53-year-old was arrested and charged with aggravated assault. Recruiting and retaining police will be a major election issue for the SA Liberals. They've released a plan should they win office in March. Leader Vincent Tarzia says it includes a range of financial incentives.
Also, a new police retention bonus to reward our long-serving officers, up to $20,000 for 20 years service. And then more money into mental health support, because we acknowledge and appreciate that policing comes with its challenges.
A US aviation company has reportedly agreed to buy Rex Airlines 15 months since it collapsed into voluntary administration. The terms of the deal with Air T could be released as early as this week. The federal government bailed out Rex, allowing the airline to continue operating some key regional routes. Federal police have foiled an international organised crime operation seizing $11 million worth of cocaine. Officers in Chile discovered 36 kilos of the drug destined for our shores, allegedly hidden in mining equipment. The cocaine was removed and the equipment sent to Australia, with the AFP waiting to see who would collect it. 2 men from Western Sydney have been arrested, along with 3 others in Chile. And Dr Jane Goodall's cause of death has been revealed as cardiac arrest. The 91-year-old passed away in California on October the 1st. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
At Agostino Mitsubishi, get $2,500 cash bonus on Outlander, Pajero Sport and new Triton. T's and C's apply.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Australia's cricketers will ramp up their preparations for the second ODI against India at Adelaide Oval when they hit the nets this morning. The Aussies lead the best of 3 series, 1-0. Meantime, South Australia's one-day title defence is back on track following a resounding bonus point win against Queensland at home. Chasing 120 to win from 25 overs. SA did it with 9 wickets in hand. Mackenzie Harvey unbeaten on 52, while Nathan McSweeney was with him at the crease on 38. He also took 3 wickets. Coach Ryan Harris says it was good to see both play so well.
Mac Harvey's in really good form. Nice for Nathan to get some time in the middle and hit the ball really nicely as well. So, anytime you're 1 down, it's always a good win.
Tickets will go on sale for the Adelaide International today as excitement builds ahead of the tournament, which begins on January 12. American and defending champion Madison Keys has been announced as the first player to be playing in the tournament. To baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays have forced a winner-take-all Game 7 in their American League Championship Series against the Seattle Mariners. The Blue Jays winning Game 6, 6-2.
Pop up, block
Game 7 tomorrow night.
Audio there thanks to ESPN. That game will be played later this morning our time, with the winner to advance to the World Series, where they'll take on the defending champions, the LA Dodgers. One game in the English Premier League this morning. It's currently Brentford leading West Ham 1-0 with about 25 minutes to play. And in some basketball news, the Great Barrier Thief, also known as Aussie star defensive guard Dyson Daniels, is reportedly set for a massive payday, signing a 4-year, $100 million rookie contract extension with the Atlanta Hawks. Not bad money there, Mel. That's the 5AA Sport.
Very nice indeed. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there. Roads are wet due to passing showers. Only going to get heavier throughout the morning, so take it easy on the drive. Got a burst water main at St Agnes, Hancock Road near Francis Street. Gasworks this morning at Hawthorn Cross Road near Denning Street. Got road plates in use at the moment at Glen Osmond. That's at Port Rush Road, just near the bottom of the freeway there. And if you're heading in on South Road near Glandore, that huge 96-metre tram bridge, which has been likened to a smaller Sydney Harbour Bridge, I can see that if I squint. It's been lifted into place to create the tram overpass at South Road. Certainly something interesting to see on the driving this morning. Cameras Doothie Street at Malvern and North East Road at St Agnes. Caltex makes the engine cleaning power of Techron available in every grade of fuel, not just premium. Fill up at Caltex and give your engine the Techron cleaning treatment today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Staycation for a vacation? Stay with CMAX. Visit cmax.com.au to sign up today.
Rain with a storm developing, 26 for your Tuesday, a possible early storm and showers tomorrow 18, Thursday partly cloudy and 19, and Friday 23. Right now it's 16 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Generic brand cleaning services. Press 1 if you'd like to stay on hold for another 30 minutes. Or if you'd like to scream into the handset, press 2.
At Servicing SA Cleaning and Facility Solutions, you speak to real South Aussies about cleaning your retail, commercial or community property. The interstaters might promise the world, but will they show up when the bins overflow on Friday? Affordable, reliable and 100% local. That's Servicing SA. Go to servicingsa.com.au.
Tired of scrolling through countless websites to plan your holiday? At locally owned Spark Travel, our travel experts are just a phone call away, eager to hear your needs and craft the perfect getaway tailored just for you. Reach out today for a chat and let's start planning your holiday together. Look for our travel deals in the Sunday Mail. Spark Travel, where your journey begins with a conversation. King William Street, Adelaide. Phone now 88765121, sparktravel.com.au.
Fuel cards, receipts. Why does managing a fleet feel like I'm building flat pack furniture? Without the instructions. Don't ask why, ask Wex. Wex Motor Pass is the one card that works for everything. No fuss, no piles of paperwork, just streamlined fuel management across Australia. Finally, a fix that doesn't need an Allen key. Search Wex Motor Pass. Terms and conditions apply.
Get saving this month at City Discount Tyres. When you buy 3 Wild Peak AT3W all-terrain tyres, you'll get the 4th tyre free. The perfect tyre for your next adventure. City Discount Tyres are a proud multi-tyre and wheel brand retailer offering great service at great prices. Visit citydiscounttyres.com.au to find your nearest store. City Discount Tyres. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tyres.
When life hits the fan, clean it up with a new Cashies loan. Get up to $5,000. Redraw whenever you need without reapplying. Plus, there's no upfront fees, no monthly account keeping fees, and no shouldn't be a fee fees. New Cashies loan. Be more life-proof. Apply in-store or at cashconverters.com.au.
T's and C's credit checks, fees and charges apply. See website for TMDs. Australian Credit Licence 391436.
And issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA.
There's
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
I got along. I mean, that wouldn't be fair because, the man on my right has a big advantage. You know that, right? But I think he's doing a really good job, and we've had a very good relationship. I don't want to compare one with the other, but I'll tell you, this one is. They really have a great prime minister. Was that a good statement?
I use it in my ads.
That's the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese. A pretty triumphant meeting with the US President Donald Trump. We're going to break it all down for you in just a moment. Still to come on the program this morning, we've got a trial by jury coming up this hour. Also, we're going to be chatting with Vincent Tarzia, who's dropped a significant policy with regard to repopulating SAPOL. How do we keep police? How do we attract more? Well, Vincent Tarzia,
$20,000.
Yeah, he's got his money talks, and you know what takes the bus. And then after 8 o'clock today,
Bobby Fleckman.
Deanna Williams is going to join us, the 7 News court reporter, because Troy Bell's going to be sentenced, the member for Mount Gambier, after 10 o'clock this morning. A big story in state politics. But let's start with federal politics. Let's start with the meeting that's been talked about for the better part of a year now. When would Anthony Albanese meet Donald Trump? What would happen? What would be on the agenda? What would we learn about the state of the relationship that has at very least felt frayed ever since Liberation Day, when tariffs were placed on Australia and the rest of the world? Well, I think the key takeaway is the relationship is strong, and we got good news on a number of fronts. So let's break it down, because having listened to the entire thing this morning, the key takeaways for Australia and South Australia specifically: the critical minerals deal that was signed off on, AUKUS. We got some clarity around Donald Trump's view on AUKUS. We've heard about the US president's approach to tariffs, defence spending, and there was a little tidbit for Kevin Rudd as well. So let's start with the minerals deal, because this was new. This was signed between the two parties.
We are discussing critical minerals and rare earths, and we're going to be signing an agreement that's been negotiated over a period of 4 or 5 months. And it was sort of good timing that we got it done just in time for the visit. And we work together very much on rare earths, critical minerals, and lots of other things. And we've had a very good relationship. We've been working on that for quite a while. In about a year from now, we'll have so much critical mineral and rare earths that you won't know what to do with them. They'll be worth about $2.
The deal in substance amounts to $1 billion contributed by the US and $1 billion by the Australian government over the next 6 months for projects that are immediately available and ready to go, and $8.5 billion for a pipeline of critical mineral projects, including, we learnt with Mark Riley from 7 News just after 6 o'clock this morning, over $100 million for Port Pirie and Nearstar there, which will be welcome news for that part of the world. So that will unlock immediate funding for South Australia.
For people like me who aren't quite across this world, have you got a handy sort of 100 words or less explainer as to when we hear about critical minerals and rare earths, what are we talking about? Why are they so important?
It's a huge range of things. It's a bit of a misnomer. They're not all that rare. The problem is they are rare to find in the quantity that makes it worth digging them up. The lead time to find them is expensive. The process to dig them up is expensive. They're important for everything from making semiconductors to batteries to solar panels, a lot of things in computers,
and a lot of them are in
cars.
countries. Some of them in countries that are a bit dodgy.
Well,
and we want them in
Ukraine's
like
war-torn.
Well, yeah, when I mean dodgy, I mean unstable.
Yes,
yeah.
Australia is stable. The vast majority are in China.
Yeah, okay.
And that's why they're politically problematic for the US, and that's why China likes to wield them as a bit of a bargaining chip. That was a good deal for Australia. AUKUS, let's talk about people in South Australia waiting with bated breath. The US president was asked about it.
It was made a while ago, and nobody did anything about it, and it was going too slowly. We do actually have a lot of submarines. We have the best submarines in the world, anywhere in the world, and we're building. With Anthony, we've worked on this long and hard, and we're starting that process right now, and I think it's really moving along very rapidly.
He said the US is going full steam ahead with AUKUS. A reporter asked, how can, given the slow build of subs in the US, how can you guarantee that Australia are going to get them? And he simply said, oh no, they're getting them. That was good news for AUKUS here in South Australia. If Donald Trump's on board, this will at least continue through his term of government. And then the Democrats, obviously under Joe Biden, started this whole thing. So that's a huge development for AUKUS. It removes a bit of a cloud that had been over the whole thing for the last 12 months. But there was good news on that front, which takes us to The question of defence spending. We know Pete Hegseth has been travelling the globe saying you need to spend, NATO members, for example, need to spend 3.5% of GDP. And there was some suggestion there might be pressure on Australia too to up our defence spending that's currently 2% of GDP. If we had to meet that to keep our alliance with the US, that's tens of billions of dollars extra per year that the Australian government would have to find. Well, Donald Trump didn't sound that motivated by that whole idea.
Mr. President, are you now satisfied with Australia's defence investment, or do you want Australia to invest more in defence?
Well, I'd always like more, but they have to do what they have to do. You know, you can only do so much. I think they've been great. They're building magnificent holding pads for the submarines. It's going to be expensive, too. You know, you wouldn't believe the level of complexity, right, and how expensive it is. They're building tremendous docking because they have a lot of ships and a lot of things happening. And I think their military has been very strong, very, very strong.
So is he sort of making the point there that, okay, defence spending as a percentage of GDP is one thing, but they're doing all this other stuff with AUKUS?
I think that's precisely what he's saying. You can only do so much. I think they've been great, he says. I think we can put to bed any concern that our defence spending is going to be used to sort of leverage our behaviour in the region. Or at one point in time, you might recall, we were wondering, were they going to say up your spending to keep AUKUS? Well, those two things are now clearly totally distinct from one another, which is great news. Tariffs, not so great news. He was asked about it, but didn't sound like there was any wiggle room.
Yeah, well, the tariffs have been amazing because, you know, tariffs have been really a reason that I was able to settle almost all of the, you know, I've settled 8 wars in 8 months. Not bad. Of the 8 deals, I would say because of tariffs, 4 or 5 of them were settled. It's an amazing thing, the power of tariffs in terms of our country. But tariffs have always been used against us. We never use them against anywhere else. And I will say this, Australia pays very low tariffs. Very, very low tariffs. In fact, Australia pays among the lowest tariffs.
So they're not off the table. Tariffs is probably the one thing that we were maybe hoping there might be some movement on, but it doesn't sound like there will be, which includes then things like the steel industry, that includes things like the pharmaceutical industry that are getting smacked with them. So that's not so good news. The last little bit was probably the most funny and certainly the most awkward. Just to set the scene for you, Anthony Albanese sitting next to Donald Trump as they're fielding questions. Directly across from them at the table is the Australian ambassador, Kevin Rudd, who, well, his ears would have been burning.
I don't know anything about him. I mean, if you said bad, then maybe he'll like to apologize. I really don't know. Did an ambassador say something bad about him? Don't tell me. I don't. Where is he? Is he still working for you?
Yeah.
You said bad?
Before I took this position, Mr. President.
I don't like you either. I don't, and I probably never will.
Just an extraordinary moment. Anthony Albanese sensing the comedy of the moment, pointing at Kevin Rudd and saying, yeah, he's right there. It's one of the all-time moments.
I reckon that Al must have just thought, well, let's just lean into this because what's the alternative?
Totally. I think he played it brilliantly, really.
But Rudd with his priggish sort of, those statements are no longer operative. It's just like it. Could have been a hell of a lot worse, though, couldn't it?
No, it could have. So that were our key takeaways. Minerals, AUKUS, tariffs, defence spending, and, of course, Kevin Rudd there at the end. They had a lunch at which they had a full green salad, rosemary roast chicken, a red Bartlett pear pavlova for dessert as well. That was on the menu.
And Anthony Albanese is spending the night at the White House. He is staying at the official presidential guest residence, Blair House, which was interpreted as an early sign that things were going to go well. I mean, you're not going to give him a Zelensky-style dressing down and then say, while you're here, would you like to stay the night? Now that they've given you a right royal pizzling on global television. And in a nice touch, Melania Trump left a big bunch of flowers, orchids, some lizzies, beautiful arrangement on his front doorstep. So there you go. Nice floral bouquet.
Nice way to round it out.
Yeah, probably some canapes on the lawn tonight and then hit the hay. And wonder if Rudd's going to be there because it's only about 4:30 in the afternoon in Washington.
Oh, to be
Is Rudd going to be at the party?
To be a fly on the wall. 20 after 7, we're going to take a break. We'll check traffic. Lots of people, their thoughts coming through. We'd love to hear yours, 8223 or text us on the Police Home Care text line. Coming up next on the local front, how does Vincent Tarzia plan to fix the police recruiting crisis? Well, he's got a plan, and he's going to tell you what it is in just a moment. Browse undercover and comfort for your certified pre-owned Toyota at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Summerton Park.
Morning there. Roads are wet due to passing showers. Only going to get heavier throughout the morning, so take it easy. St Agnes, a burst water main, Hancock Road near Francis Street. Urgent Gasworks at Hawthorn, Cross Road near Denning Street, and Glen Osmond Road. Plates in use for urgent works, Portrush Road near Glen Osmond Road, just the bottom of the freeway. Currah's Wattle Street, Malvern, and Winston Avenue at Dill Park. Notice someone with a blue nail? They're not just making a statement, they're taking a stand. Donate at polishman.com and help end violence against women and children. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Graham Goodings.
Well, Australia's 2025 flu season has set a grim record.
Graham Goodings.
410,000 cases, surpasses last year's high of 365,000. Australian College of GPs, SA Deputy Chair Claire Keogh.
Influenza is a really awful illness, particularly our elderly and our young kids as well. So it's definitely a concern.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Received an expiation notice or instant loss of licence? Facing a licence disqualification or suspension? Your next move matters. I'm Ben Thilthorpe from BTD Lawyers, recognised in Doyle's Guide as leading traffic lawyers. We'll guide you through the legal process and fight for the best possible outcome. Book your obligation-free consultation today and speak to us before you do anything else. Barbary Thilthorpe Daniel Lawyers, Adelaide's trusted traffic law specialists. Visit btdlawyers.au.
Oh, geez, it's hot in here. Can someone pass the Morford air? Oh, that's better.
When the temperature is too hot or cold to bear, reach for the Morford Air, Adelaide's own homegrown family air conditioning company. Morford Air has kept South Australians perfectly comfortable for over 50 years. So when it's too hot or cold to bear, you can always reach for the Morford Air. Look for the bright blue building at 602 Marion Road or visit morfordair.com.au.
Morford.
The Dutch Pantry in Klemzig is home to all things Amsterdam. You'll find Dutch products, fresh produce and a cafe bursting with delicious Dutch meals. But most importantly, the Dutch Sugar and Spice Bakery, specialising in Dutch cakes.
Angela, the owner, learnt every recipe from her mum, who learnt from her mum, who learnt from, you guessed it, her mum.
Ange takes orders, so you can call ahead or try your luck on the day, but you'd better get in early because understandably they sell out quickly.
Just ask about her Dutch vanilla slice, Dutch apple strudel, I love apple strudel, or her bestseller, the Dutch baked Dutch speculas cheesecake made with Biscoff. Yum.
Taste the Netherlands in every bite at the Dutch Sugar and Spice Bakery, part of the Dutch Pantry, located on OG Road at Klemzig. Just look for the big windmill.
Tired of rising power bills? What if you could eliminate power bills forever? With NRG Solar, the new cheaper home batteries program gives eligible homes and businesses up to 30% off the cost of a new home battery, saving you thousands. NRG Solar has the know-how to help you claim the rebate and design a system that delivers real long-term value. Own your energy, own your future. Call 1300 858 160, that's 1300 858 160, or visit nrgsolar.com.au now.
When you need capability, solutions and expertise for major projects, that's a Kennards Hire job.
Hi, Kennards Hire.
For 24/7 customer support, talk to our experts today.
Kennards make your job easy.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 after 7, just got a text from someone listening to the wrap of the Trump Albanese press conference remarking about Albo throwing Kevin Rudd under the bus. Got us thinking, when have you been thrown under the bus? 8223 0000. The hospital hand pass. When have you received one?
I wonder what would happen if Albo said, no, we got rid of that guy.
Yeah, I've never heard of, seen of him since. He's just sitting right there.
Oh, this is Kevin Crud.
Yeah. Hello. 8223 0000. When have you been thrown under the bus? We'd like to hear your stories, and maybe Kevin Rudd would too, in solidarity.
Oh, yeah. He's a big listener.
We've got flights, accommodation and tickets to the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo that's on in Brisbane, February next year. We're going to play something from the Royal Military Band. If you're the first caller through, it could be you that's getting along, all thanks to Spark Travel. Plan your next getaway with experts at Spark Travel, where every journey begins with a friendly conversation.
Well, our inability to attract and retain police officer has been one of the most challenging parts of law enforcement in this state over the last few years. It's a problem that the Police Commissioner has been quite upfront about it, and with other states putting bigger incentives on the table, the Leader of the Opposition has decided that it's time to act. We've got Vincent Tarzia on the line now. Mr. Tarzia, good morning, and thanks for joining us. Just walk us through what you've got in mind here. 20 grand a pop for police to join, and also, in some cases, bonuses to stay.
Yeah, exactly. So we know that we need more cops on the beat to deter crime, and if we're elected to government, we'll do just that, and we've got a plan to better recruit and retain police. So to break down the plan, so what we're offering is a $20,000 recruitment bonus, and that's for experienced police officers from interstate or internationally if they come to South Australia. And this is happening with other jurisdictions where they're trying to poach our talent, but also a $20,000 incentive to attract police who have left the service the last few years. But also, what's more innovative is what we want to do is pay $20,000 off university help debts of new recruits if they are having some sort of qualification in a relevant area. So we think that's going to be a massive bonus for them, but also a retention bonus to keep those experienced police in the force longer. So if you reach 10 years, you get 10 grand, 15 years, 15 grand, and 20 years, and every 5 years afterwards, you get 20 grand. Now, if you look at this morning, there's been a stabbing, right? We know we're already hundreds of police short. You've got sovereign citizens running out there. You've got people with knives running out there. It's a tough job. And so if we want to attract and recruit these police officers, we've got to look after them. And so this is quite an ambitious plan to try and retain and attract more to the beat.
So just in the context of people, men and women who have left the job, because we know over the last few years there's been times where you might have, a couple of hundred graduates coming out of Largs, but that year there's been more than that number who've left the force. So you're getting a reduced influx of junior coppers and an exodus of older ones. How do you make sure that if someone has quit in the last 4 years and you say here's a 20 grand carrot to dangle in front of them, do they have to sign on for a certain amount of time if they do return?
Yeah, absolutely. And today I'll be speaking to PASA, to the police union, about this exact thing. But we know that there's a shortfall of around 200 officers at the moment. Now, the government's got this plan to get another 326, but like you pointed out, David, they can't even keep what they've got. And so this is a massive issue. The other thing is, if you look at assaults on police under the last few years, assaults on police are up 41%. So it's becoming a more dangerous job, whether we like to admit it or not. And so these sorts of incentives we hope will attract but also retain people. Another key pillar of the policy is also in regards to mental health. So we're putting some money on the table for better mental health support because we acknowledge and appreciate that it is a tough, challenging job.
Vincent, just before we let you go, obviously front page of the Advertiser this morning, the Auditor General are finding that nearly $500 million has been spent on the hydrogen plant plan. The state government are arguing, well, yes, but that's before we sell the 50 megawatt wind, the big turbines that we purchased to recoup some of the cost. Do you buy that explanation? And do you think that South Australians are going to be protected against the size of that outlay for nothing?
No, I mean, this is an extraordinary amount of money. And I mean, it's been revealed by the Auditor General. I mean, it's a massive amount of money. We haven't seen this sort of exposure since really the state bake time. So $500 million is a whole lot of wasted money. And look, the opportunity cost of that money down the drain is, you could have spent this on fixing ramping, on hospitals, on schools, on more cops on the beat. And that's the devastating part of this, that they've wasted around $500 million. And our concern is we're not going to see a cent of that. They're making these grand promises about what they'll recoup, but it doesn't look good so far.
Vincent Tarzia, the Leader of the Opposition, thanks for joining us there. I reckon a lot of police would be cheering that on. I'm just reading the menu for what was billed as a light working lunch. This is Albo, Rudd and the Donald, and a cast of thousands. J.D. Vance was there as well. This sounds really good, and we know that the President normally likes cheeseburgers. But how's this? 3 courses included what was called a fall green salad, as in autumn, with sunset tomatoes, White House honey dressing. Wonder if you can buy that, like the old Paul Newman dressing. Rosemary roast chicken with celery root puree, asparagus, collard greens, nice southern dish there, and Dijon sauce. That sounds really good. And then a bit of an Aussie touch, a pear pavlova with candied ginger ice cream and berry compote.
Nothing like a good pav to round it out. All right, 5AA News Time, back shortly.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Rain with a storm developing today and a top of 26 with the 7:30 news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Keep in shape with physio instructor clinical Pilates and gym classes at 6 locations. physioextra.com.
Police say a stabbing at Croydon Park early this morning was not a random attack. They were called to Hudson Avenue shortly before 2. A man was stabbed in the chest following an altercation, suffering superficial wounds. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says charges have been laid.
A 53-year-old Croydon Park man was arrested and charged with aggravated assault, and he'll face court in December.
A pre-election announcement from the SA Liberals today. They've released a plan to recruit and retain frontline police officers if they win office in March. Leader Vincent Tarzia highlights some of the key points.
A $20,000 recruitment bonus for experienced police officers from interstate and internationally to move to South Australia, but also a $20,000 incentive to attract police who have left the service recently, and $20,000 off university help debts for new recruits.
A new pay deal for our public hospital doctors takes effect this week. Attorney General Kayam Ma says the South Australian Employment Tribunal has signed off on the new agreement.
13% increase over the next 4 years, which will see doctors get real wage increases. It also recognises the role that junior doctors play with a $4,000 increase to the base payment, as well as incentives for doctors to retrain and to stay in regional areas of South Australia.
The Foreign Minister insists the signing of a major critical minerals deal with the US won't come at the expense of our relationship with China. The Prime Minister finally sitting down for that face-to-face with the US President at the White House. During the meeting, Donald Trump confirmed he'd uphold the AUKUS submarine deal. Penny Wong says the signing of an $8.5 billion minerals agreement will be beneficial for our country.
These are so important for the 21st century economy. They're important for our defence industries and they're important for energy security. So it is a good thing to work with our ally and partner to assure the supply of critical minerals.
Australian researchers have discovered more about how pregnancy and breastfeeding can protect against cancer. Gabrielle Hodson has the story.
It's been known for a long time that mothers who breastfeed are less likely to get breast cancer. The reason was never quite clear until now. A team from Melbourne's Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre have discovered that a key driver of cancer protection is an accumulation of infection-fighting T cells in the breast. SMH The Age says this vital immune process happens during pregnancy and breastfeeding and can protect the mother for decades. Researchers say it's a breakthrough in how we understand immunity and protection and may open the door to new life-saving treatments.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
At Agostino Mitsubishi, get $2,500 cash bonus on Eclipse Cross PHEV. T's and C's apply.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Australia's cricketers will hit the nets this morning here in Adelaide as they prepare for Thursday's second ODI clash against India. Meantime, England are continuing their tune-up for a massive Australian summer with a crushing 65-run win over New Zealand in their second T20 international. They made a huge 236 from their 20 overs, thanks largely to 78 from 35 balls from one of their stars, Harry Brook. And South Australia has made it back-to-back wins in the One Day Cup after a crushing 9-wicket win against Queensland at home. Captain Nathan McSweeney took 3 wickets and then made an unbeaten 38. Let's go to soccer. Nottingham Forest is set to appoint former Everton manager Sean Dyche as Ange Postecoglou's replacement. Socceroos great Craig Foster says the Tricky Trees will struggle to attract big names following a series of sackings.
I think there was some talk with Roberto Mancini, for example, who is an outstanding coach. Apparently he's been approached to take the job and he said no. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think top-level managers now are going to start saying, well, listen, you're only going to get second-string managers because we're not going through that rubbish.
Trainer David Hayes has fired a warning to rivals after Kaying Rising's stunning win in the Everest. Hayes telling Wide World of Sports he wants his Hong Kong superstar to return to Royal Randwick in 2026 and go back-to-back.
If I can get him there, we'll be trying our best. It was, it's the richest turf race in the world and he knows the track now and I'd expect him to be a better horse at Randwick for the experience.
He was super impressive on the weekend. Mel, that is the 5AA Sport.
Thank you very much. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there, roads are wet due to passing showers and probably going to get a little bit heavier in about half an hour. Keep it in mind for the drive. Burst water main at St Agnes this morning, Hancock Road near Francis Street, Hawthorne Urgent Gasworks Cross Road near Denning Street, and a little bit slow this morning, the Southern Expressway to Halloran Hill. Everyone getting used to the new on and off ramps near Majors Road. Cameras this morning, South Road, Edwardstown and Wattle Street at Malvern. FBOS fees are great for banks, not businesses. Pay no fees or terminal rental with SmartPay. Visit smartpay.com.au. T's and C's and minimum turnover apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Staycation for a vacation? Stay with CMAX. Visit cmax.com.au to sign up today.
26 for your Tuesday, but with rain and a storm developing. A possible early storm and showers tomorrow, 18. Thursday, partly cloudy, 19. Then a shower or two and 23 on Friday. Right now, it's 16 degrees on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Her mum's on the phone while she's on her skates.
Careful, honey. Don't get too close to the road.
She rides from the top of the driveway to test how fast she can go. And suddenly...
Wait, stop!
She's testing your brakes too. Stop and take time to ensure your car stops in time and the brakes are all you hit. Let Automasters test your brakes before someone else does. Call 1300 Automasters.
Australians deserve a stronger pharmaceutical benefits scheme, one that is faster, fairer and fit for the future. Did you know it has been 30 years since the PBS was reviewed? In that time, science and medicines have made significant advancements, but our process for getting Australians access to these advancements is letting us down. If you would like to do your part to help all Australians waiting to access critical medicines, simply visit strongerpbs.com.au today.
Still thinking about a sea change? Think Oakford Homes in Counter Bay. New stage released and selling fast. A variety of block sizes available in a friendly community with brand new low maintenance homes plus the beach close by. Affordable packages, no surprises. Move in now or invest for the future. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land ready to build. Don't miss out. New stage now released. Visit our display village at Encounter Bay. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
At Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, the swear jar takes on a whole new meaning. It's about their pledge to do everything they can to make your bathroom or kitchen renovation experience the best it can possibly be. It's a commitment their entire business takes seriously, from their incredible design team through to their selections and tradespeople. Every person at Buy Urban is invested. They swear by it. Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Some milk on our shelves travels further than you do on holiday. Not milk from Flurio Milk Company. Our milk is proudly homegrown, home bottled and delivered straight from the rolling paddocks of South Australia's Flurio Peninsula. Freshness isn't a buzzword for us. We live and breathe it 24 hours a day. When you buy from Flurio Milk Company, you're supporting our incredible farming families and doing SA proud. Look for Flurio Milk Company in your supermarket.
Summer's on the way. Beat the rush and organise your Walco pool blanket now. Keep your pool clean, warm and reduce evaporation. Uncover the savings with a Walco pool blanket. Visit walco.com.au.
Her mum's on the phone while she's on her skates.
Careful, honey. Don't get too close to the road. Wait, stop!
Let Automasters test your brakes before someone else does. Call 1300 Automasters.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
21 minutes to 8, Phil Curry very shortly. Looking forward to Phil's take on the Trump-Albanese meeting. We've broken it all down for you. We'll get Phil's thoughts shortly. Also, coming up before 8 o'clock, our trial by jury. But first, the Police Minister, Blair Boyer, has called into the program. Minister, good morning to you.
Good morning to both of you. I just want to make a comment on the announcement this morning from Vincent Tardia. Today, I think we're exactly 5 months until the 2026 South Australian state election. And what we've seen in terms of this sort of first major announcement from the opposition is completely unbudgeted. We had no detail on exactly how many the incentive payments they would propose to actually provide, or what the total budget is. Now, we can compare that to what the Malinaskis government has already delivered and locked into its 2025 budget, which is a record investment in South Australia Police and a commitment to get us up to 5,000 officers, so an increase of 326. So I think, our commitment to recruitment, which we agree is an absolutely, a vital investment by any state government, is there, and the money is committed in the thought estimate.
But isn't Minister, your fiscal rectitude argument undone by the fact that the state's careening towards a $50 billion debt, and we've got the front page of today's Times of Mally's $500 million hydro bomb? Like, you can't really attack them on fiscal rectitude grounds. Maybe it's just time to admit that this might actually be a good idea, because we have got a recruitment crisis. Other states are doing more headline-grabbing things. So maybe the Libs have actually plucked one out this time, and maybe you should copy it.
But if they have indeed plucked it out, as you say, where's the detail? Today's exactly 5 months until the state election. It's very soon. I think what you would expect from any political party, seeking to govern the state, when it's making commitments like this, which no doubt will involve a large amount of taxpayers' money, is to give a bit of detail, not just to go for the headline with the $20,000 figure, but actually explain how much taxpayers' money will be going into actually providing those incentives. And as I said, we're comparing it to what we've already actually locked into a budget and announced. The money that we put in the 2025 budget, which is a record amount for South Australia Police, is there. It is budgeted for us to deliver that big growth up to 5,000 sworn officers. We are doing, the hard things, and we're not going for the cheap headline.
Well, sometimes they work on the cusp of an election. Blair Boy, the police minister, calling in there. We're in a post-fiscal rectitude age in this state, aren't we? You can spend almost $1 billion on a non-existent hydrogen plant. Let's just give money to cops.
Exactly.
Don't you reckon?
Well, hang on. We haven't sold the turbines yet.
Oh, no, that's
Maybe
right.
Vincent could argue.
They're at the back, page 88 of the Trading Post. Turbines, out they go.
Maybe he could say we'll sell the turbines to pay for the police recruitment policy.
Or maybe if they come here, we just give them a turbine.
There you go.
Join SAPOL, get a turbine.
Well, that's 2 police officers we've attracted. Phil Curry, the political editor of the Australian Financial Review, was happy not to go on another overseas trip. He's followed the Prime Minister everywhere, albeit I reckon this one would have been pretty entertaining to be at. We've broken it down. We crossed to the White House just after 6 o'clock this morning. Phil was watching it back in Canberra like the rest of us. Phil, good morning.
Good morning, fellas.
What was your immediate takeaway from the Albanese-Trump catch-up?
Oh, I thought it went really, really well in terms of, Albanese came out of it really well. We got stuff out of it. And the only person who got poked fun at was Kevin Rudd. So, to be expected. So, I think, when you think of all that can go pear-shaped in these meetings with Trump, but I wasn't expecting it to be an angry or humiliating affair, because they do get on pretty well, and as we know, they did that big deal on critical minerals. So to be able to walk into that room with something he wants and needs and make Trump feel like a winner, that's always important. So, I think the delay in getting to meet Trump, we had those sort of several aborted attempts to meet him, probably played to our favour in the end, because, a few months ago the Americans weren't really interested in our critical minerals. But then we've seen over the last few weeks that China starting to flex its muscle as the principal supplier of those to the world, and threatened to cut off, and suddenly America had this come to Jesus moment, thinking actually we've got to find them from somewhere else. So I think it sort of all turned out well. The AUKUS review isn't going to be anything to be scared of. Trump assured that AUKUS will go ahead, and also the other big one was defence spending. If you remember, a few months ago, the US Defence Secretary said we've got to spend tens of billions more on defence to get our defence budget up, and then Trump sort of said, "Oh, look, just do your best." So we've had time over the last few months to sort of get these arguments together on things like that, and it seems to have all gone very well.
So, Phil, do you reckon, because they were talking about it only a few hours ago, do you reckon we will see Trump in Australia soon enough?
Oh, who knows? I mean, it's just a standard thing, Dave. When you meet a foreign leader, you always extend an invitation for them to come to Australia, and they do the same to you if you're not in their country. So it's a pro forma sort of thing. I'd be surprised, given Trump's busy trying to fix the Middle East and the Russia-Ukraine problem, and everything else. You could probably tee it up with a golf tournament. I mean, I remember last time he was in office, they were playing the President's Cup in Melbourne. That's played every 2 years. That's America versus all the non-European countries. A bit like the Ryder Cup, and he almost came out for that. So I reckon next time, if we host the President's Cup, it's probably your best chance. But I can't see any sort of pressing need on his calendar for him to come out here, unless not in the medium term, anyhow.
Yeah.
It'd be fun if he did.
Yeah. Will was making the point before. He's probably not a live guy. He's more of a PGA guy.
No, he's live. He's live. He's a really good mate. He was talking it up when Live Golf started. He was telling everyone, take the money. But Liv's not doing too great at the moment. I mean, Greg Norman, as you know, is a very good mate of Trump's and had a lot to do with putting this whole trip together and doing a lot of the diplomacy behind the scenes for Anthony Albanese. But Norman's been kicked out of Live Golf now. It's been pretty acrimonious. He's got nothing to do with it anymore. So if I were you guys, I'd be a bit careful about developing that North Adelaide golf course. And Live's in a lot of trouble. It's losing a lot of money. It's losing $500 million a year, and they can't get any good players to come over to it from the PGA Tour. So I'm not sure how much longer Live's going to go, to be honest. But look, Trump likes Live, and he loves Bryson DeChambeau, who's the pin-up boy for Live. So he might come out for it. Get him to. Well, it's Kooyonga next year, isn't it?
Yeah, or Grange. One more at Grange, then Kooyonga, and then North Adelaide's meant to be ready after that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the that's the go. But maybe he'll come to Adelaide. We're definitely not going to come to the COP summit. He hates that.
No, I don't think so. Well,
can't imagine he'd get a great reception at COP.
That's right. Drill, baby, drill. There's no nice slogan for it. Great.
You got to get it. You got to get the thing first.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Get it off. Head the turkeys off at the pass. Hey, good stuff, Phil. Phil Curry, the national political editor of the Australian Financial Review. Hey, can I just give a shout out to Noel? Noel in Brighton. Noel has sent through 3 photographs that just tell a hilarious story about the way local government works. So there's local government roadworks underway. Well, maybe I shouldn't jump to the conclusion. They could be state government roadworks. Hang on. I think it's the council. Anyway. So there's roadworks on Cedar Avenue, Brighton. On one side of the road, there's a footpath on either side. So on one side of the road, there's all these witches' hats and all this digging's underway, and there's a big yellow sign that says, use other footpath, all right? Makes sense. Then on the other side of the road, on the other footpath, there's a sign that says, use other footpath. It's like some prank.
There is no third footpath.
Well, this is what Noel says. He says, I have one question. Is there a third other footpath? It actually does your head in looking at it, doesn't it? It's like some sort of weird, what were they called? Was it the Dardarists who would do those pranks? They were like an offshoot of the Surrealists.
Right.
Barry Humphries was into Dardarism before he became Les Patterson and Dame Edna. You know, they used to go into shops and buy things and then say to the man, I don't want to take it with me, I just want to buy it.
It looks to me, it's sort of like the Adelaide local government version of Escher's staircase. It's an unsolvable conundrum that bends your mind.
Maybe it's one of the things that's on the items for discussion when they'll get together in Rio.
Maybe.
Hey, we are getting some really interesting evidence about this whole trust us is not costing the council a cent line that we got presented with yesterday. Apparently that's not true. More work to be done on that.
All right.
But councils are on the hook for this.
We've got a jury trial coming up after the break, which means there's an opportunity for you to win $100 worth of Sam Tass Seafoods just by being involved. You can remain totally anonymous. Render your verdict. I think this is a subject that irritates a lot of people. It's coming up in a moment. Traffic first. Browse undercover in comfort for your certified pre-owned Toyota. The new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Summerton Park.
Right, to damp due to that big weather front coming through at the moment, so take it easy on the drive in. Got a burst water main at St Agnes, Hancock Road near Francis Street, urgent gas works at Hawthorn Cross Road near Denning Street, and got road plates in Music Glen Osmond, Port Rice Road at the bottom of the freeway this morning. Camera right now, Wright Road at Ingle Farm. Visit the Oakton Rise Display Village grand opening for a free family fun day. Explore display homes and enjoy free food, music, kids activities and more. Saturday, November 1 at Oakton Rise. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blowing up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. We're helping life flow.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Deliver more with Toyota, the world's #1 forklift brand. Choose from a great range including pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts, right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift.
Now, spring racing season is coming up, and we all know it's just as much about fashion as horse racing, so you want to look your best.
And if you're not sure what to wear or you want to freshen up your wardrobe, the fastest way to get your confidence on track is to go and see the team at Peter Shearer Menswear.
And look, if like me, you've got no interest in racing, but occasionally you like surprising people by looking good and they go, oh, you look good, as if it's some sort of revelation. Well, do what I did. Get into Peter Shearer because they've got an incredible range of suits and sports coats, shoes, pants and accessories, plus a team of stylists. The staff are so good in there to make sure you'll be looking your very best.
They do everything as well because there's in-house tailoring, there are dry cleaning services. You're covered from head to toe. Head into Peter Shearer Menswear for your spring racing attire and be fitted with confidence.
With Big Difference Home Improvements, you can make a big difference to your next family gathering, your next Christmas lunch, or your next quiet time. Just you, a nice book, favourite bevy, and a place to relax. Big Difference Home Improvements make all the difference when it comes to outdoor blinds and roller shutters, verandas, pergolas, carports, or a stunning timber deck. Ask the Big D team for a free measure and quote today. Don't just make a difference, make a big difference. Visit bigdifference.com.au.
Introducing the Caliente by Beechwood Homes. A multi-level masterpiece of design, innovation and style. Inspired by the effortless glamour of Palm Springs in California, it's bathed in natural light through clever architectural design. At its heart, a stunning 6-metre island bench anchors a kitchen that's as beautiful as it is functional. The Caliente is open for viewing at 10 Simon Crescent, Craigburn Farm, Saturdays and Sundays 1 to 4:30pm. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
At Coles, great hair days start with great half-price hair care. Like half-price Pantene shampoo or conditioner, 900ml, now just $10. Shop in-store or online at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
Australia's aviation watchdog has issued a reprimand for a Labor candidate for the seat of Morialta, Matthew Morozzi. He was using a drone to fly over the seat, provide a bit of exciting footage for the social media perhaps, and so forth. Well, people who have used drones will know if you fly too high, I know real estate agents who have found out this the hard way, you get a letter. It picks up on their radar.
So CASA work out.
CASA will work out. They're all individually registered, and they'll set. You can be in big trouble.
So that's how they know.
Yeah, they know.
So when you buy a drone, you have to register it.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And then they've got a little code or something.
That's right. They've got serial numbers or some identifier that they will pick up on. In any case, got us thinking about the drone. Drones irritate. There's a lot of drone enthusiasts. There's a lot of people who find drones irritating. As opposed to CASA just handing out the old reprimand, should they just be banned? Should drones be banned or should they be allowed to fly free? 8223 Is there a good argument for someone having a drone outside of, the Donbass region?
Well, what if you're doing it for tourism purposes and you're doing like a video of like a vineyard or maybe like I don't know, like the Riesling Trail in Clare. If you're doing, this is one of South Australia's finest new bike tracks.
Looks great.
That'd be good.
Looks spectacular.
Valid use of it.
Ever been at the beach or a park and someone's cruising the drone around, though?
What about some of the residents of in Joslin? When we did the story about the Chinese embassy, said there were drones.
Yes.
One day a drone just came up out of the embassy and landed in someone's front yard playing The East is Red.
8223 0000. $100 worth of Sabtas seafood on the line. Get into Sabtas. We're $100. That'll feed you for, probably more than a week. They're open every single day of the week for the best quality seafood and best prices. Sabtas Seafood's open 7 days, factory direct, Richmond Road at Richmond. Should we be banning drones? Are they irritating or do they have value? And they should be allowed to fly free. Ban them or allow drones to be free. 8223 0000 is the number.
Hey, Barry's had some trouble getting his Smeg kettle. I don't know what's going on there. We're going to sort that out, Barry. It must have been a missed call or something, but normally the Smeg turnaround time is
He must have won it on a Feedback Friday or something.
Yeah. But we will sort that out. Andrew in Seaton says if Liv and the PGA make peace during the next 3 years, Trump will claim that he's ended his 9th war.
I think so.
What are the 8 wars? So there's Israel, and Hamas is one, obviously.
Does he count Israel, Iran?
Well, yeah, I was thinking that. And does he count
Israel, Lebanon?
The Houthis?
Yeah, that's right.
So is it basically his reworking of what Netanyahu says all the time? We're fighting a war on 7 fronts.
Perhaps. Yeah, maybe. And he says they're all been brought to a conclusion.
But didn't he say you stopped one that wasn't even happening in Cambodia?
Yeah, he had a slip of the tongue where he said he also stopped the war between Armenia and Cambodia, and everyone went, well, there's 2 countries, let alone never having a conflict, probably don't even... They're a long way apart. Let's take some calls, shall we? Let's get this jury convened. Are we banning drones or not, juror number 1?
No, I think they were just keeping... I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube videos and they use drones and you get some unbelievable footage that you would never catch with just a normal camera walking around. So,
yep. All right. Pro drone. That's hard to say, juror number 1. Thank you. Juror number 2, good morning.
Good morning. I don't think this is a straightforward one, boys, because you think of the wonderful pictures we see on 7 News at night with drones, but it's a very difficult one. I think we need to have tighter regulation, and perhaps people who want to aspire to be politicians should obey by the rules a little bit more.
Good. Juror number 2, thank you. Juror number 3, good morning.
Good morning. Actually, juror 2 is actually correct. It is a hard one because it's a tie between those who disregard the rules and those who have a professional or a casual interest in doing it correctly.
That's a good point. So maybe it's okay for professional use. Enthusiasts get cracked down on. Juror number 4, what do you think?
Yeah, let them fly free. My son uses it for fishing and it goes very well. So
Does he what he use it to spot fish, does he?
Yeah, no, he drops the baits out way out in the water, then throws his line out, and he does it from the shore, and he goes very well.
I've never heard of that before.
Wow.
That's extraordinary.
You can drop bait with it.
That's excellent, juror number 4. They didn't know that was even possible. Juror number 5, good morning.
Morning, guys. Yeah, look, I reckon they definitely need to have some tighter restrictions on it. You don't want every man and their dog having a drone flying around the place. So I think, just for commercial, but not for everyone else.
Good on you, juror number 5. Juror number 6, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I think fly free. My son has actually got one, and he uses it at his high school to record camps, take good footage for the newsletters. They are registered, so enjoy it. We've got cameras everywhere we go these days, every 100 metres on the roads, etc. So there's no difference if you've got nothing to hide.
You know what? Juror number 6 makes a good point. Because they are all individually registered, it's not like anyone gets away with doing the wrong thing.
No, exactly.
You're instantly identified. Juror number 7, good morning. Maybe just the last one on this. Juror number 7.
Yes, they should definitely be allowed to fly because a lot of people use them for their profession. They are registered, and if you fly in a non-fly zone, they are massive fines that you get charged. So you should definitely allow people to use them because they will get punished if they use them in the wrong areas.
That was all very educational.
It certainly was. A lot of.
I feel like we've all benefited from that discussion.
I think so too. That was excellent. Thanks for your insights, folks, and your thoughts on the question of drone use.
Let's give the prize to juror number 6.
Juror number 6, you got $100 worth of Samtas Seafood coming your way. You can get in and check them out 7 days a week. Samtas Seafood's Factory Direct, Richmond Road at Richmond.
Hi,
It can
I'm
happen
Bronte
at
Manuel
any
from
time,
2 and 2.
more often than
Spring
you think.
has traditionally been
Suddenly,
the peak
through
time for
illness
selling
or
your
accident,
home. As the
you
gardens bloom, so too do buyer numbers. But while demand is high, stock levels remain at historic lows. That means more competition for the homes on the market and a greater chance of achieving a premium result for your property. At 2 and 2, our experience, local knowledge and negotiation expertise give you the edge when it matters most. Visit toop.com.au to find out more.
The news and information that matters. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Rain with a storm developing 26 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
Charges have been laid after a stabbing at Croydon Park. Police say 2 men involved in an altercation on Hudson Avenue early this morning are known to each other. A 54-year-old was stabbed in the chest, suffering superficial wounds. A 53-year-old has been charged with aggravated assault. Thunderstorms and damaging winds are expected to hit most of the state today. Jenny Horvat from the Weather Bureau says there's already been some patchy rain about the metropolitan area.
Potentially seeing some storms developing during the course of the morning, but it's as that low gets closer this evening that we're really probably expecting to see those storms coming through.
Boosting police numbers is at the centre of a new pre-election promise from the state Liberals. They've announced a recruitment and retention plan. Leader Vincent Tarzia says it includes a $20,000 bonus to attract frontline officers from interstate and overseas.
There's a shortfall of around 200 police already. The government have got these targets to increase policing, but the thing is if you can't attract and retain them, then you're going to continue to have these shortfalls. So this is about saying to the police, we acknowledge and appreciate and value you, and we've got your back.
The Donald Trump-Anthony Albanese meeting at the White House has finally happened. The US president confirmed the AUKUS pact would continue, while a rare earth and critical minerals deal worth $8.5 billion was signed. But Kevin Rudd is also making headlines. A reporter asked Mr Trump about the Australian ambassador's previous comments about him. The president asked our PM about it, and he pointed to Mr Rudd sitting across the table, which was followed by this exchange.
You said bad?
Before I took this position, Mr. President.
I don't like you either. I don't, and I probably never will.
King Charles has met with survivors of this month's terror attack at a Manchester synagogue. He also joined with police officers, fire officers and ambulance staff to thank them for their response to the stabbings. The hunt for the group behind the heist at the Louvre continues. The crown jewels have been added to Interpol's Stolen Works of Art database. And it's Back to the Future Day. It's held on October 21 because that's the date Marty McFly originally travels to in the past. The movie is returning to cinemas next month for its 40th anniversary.
Doc, you don't just walk into a store and buy plutonium. Did you rip that off?
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
At Agostino Mitsubishi, get $2,500 cash bonus on Outlander, Pajero Sport and new Triton. T's and C's apply.
Great Scott, it's Tom Wren.
Oh, it is too. What a great movie. Michael J. Fox, got to love him. Former Test wicketkeeper Adam Gilchrist believes Marnus Labuschagne could find himself opening the batting in the Ashes if Sam Constas doesn't find form. Constas is averaging just 18 from his 4 innings in the Sheffield Shield this season. Gilchrist says Labuschagne's versatility makes him an option.
I guess a slightly safe option might be Marnus to open. Marnus has got to be in the top 6. Simple as that. It's just where he fits in.
Audio there thanks to Nine's Today Show. Meantime, South Australia has jumped up to 3rd on the One Day Cup table following a resounding 9-wicket win against Queensland at Karen Rolton Oval. Chasing 120 to win from 25 overs, the home side did it with 47 balls to spare to also pick up a bonus point.
Hits it away, into the offside, that'll do it. Fantastic win. As Mac Harvey races the bat for a half-century.
Yeah, great result. SA will be hoping that winning form will transfer to the Shield comp with the match against WA starting next week. And there was one game at the Women's One Day World Cup overnight, Sri Lanka beating Bangladesh by 7 runs, while tonight South Africa will take on Pakistan. The Adelaide International has been boosted with the announcement defending champion Madison Keys will return to defend her title. Tickets for January's tournament will go on sale this morning. Meantime, Aussie Alex de Minaur's into the round of 16 at the Vienna Open, following a straight sets win against Austria's Yuri Rodionov 6-4, 6-1. And there's been one game in the English Premier League this morning. Brentford 2-0 winners against West Ham. The result sealed in the 94th minute.
Chance to seal things here. And Matthias Jensen does just that to cap a terrific night for Brentford.
Yeah, audio thanks to Stan Sport. That result lifts Brentford to 14th while the Hammers are stuck in the relegation zone. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there, fair bit of weather rolling through this morning. Take it easy on wet and greasy roads. It's also causing a few dramas too, with quite a few crashes already this morning. Got one at Crayfus West, the freeway inbound near the Crayfus ramp. Another one at Bolivar, that's on the north-south motorway near the Wingfield interchange. And a smash at Wingfield to Salisbury Highway near the north-south motorway. Cameras this morning, Bulldog Road, Ingle Farm, and Beavish Road at Ingle Farm too. FIVEAA Motorhomes and Caravans have new models available now with a 5-year warranty for a limited time. Search FIVEAA RV online or visit Great Southern RV, FIVEAA Adelaide. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
Staycation for a vacation? Stay with CMAX. Visit cmax.com.au to sign up today.
Rain with a storm developing today, 26. A possible early storm and showers tomorrow, 18. Thursday, partly cloudy, 19. And Friday, a shower or two, up to 23. Right now, it's 16 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
It can happen at any time, more often than you think. Suddenly, through illness or accident, you could lose the capacity to manage your financial or personal affairs. What happens next? Who makes medical or health decisions? Who controls the family trust? From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers will answer your questions and help carry out your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com, Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Get ready, Adelaide. The four-wheel drive and adventure show is on, and TJM is bringing the heat. Score 20% off bull bars, suspensions, snorkels, plus the entire TJM protection range. Minimum 20% off TJM camp gear, plus freebies on swags and rooftop tents. Specials on GME radios and Rhino rack, and free light bars with every Rhino platform. Mirrors, long-range tanks, HSB roll covers, and exclusive American truck deals. Only at TJM. This weekend only at the Wayville Showgrounds, Stand W8.
G'day, Alan Gray here. Speaking mechanic to mechanic, we all know that when you're looking to load up your rig or to do some off-road exploring, the right suspension is crucial. It dictates how much weight you can carry, what you can tow, and how safe and comfortable your ride will be. At Terrain Tamer, our range of GVM upgrades, parabolic springs, smart coils and fortified shock absorbers will get you there and home again without a hitch. To find out more, go to terraintamer.com.
Our place is your place at the Albion Hotel. We're big on celebrations, so bring the whole family and let the kids loose to explore our massive outdoor playground. Every day is Schnitzel Day at the Albion. Loyalty members that have downloaded the Albion app enjoy discounts and rewards on food and drinks every day of the week. And if you're on the go, we've got you covered in our Thirsty Camel drive-through bottle shop. The Albion Hotel. Your local, your people, your place.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 minutes after 8, the Premier of the state, Peter Malinauskas, has just issued a statement with regard to the Trump-Albanese meeting and what was revealed with regard to AUKUS. If you haven't heard it thus far, here's Donald Trump on AUKUS.
It was made a while ago, and nobody did anything about it, and it was going too slowly. We do actually have a lot of submarines. We have the best submarines in the world, anywhere in the world, and we're building. With Anthony, we've worked on this long and hard, and we're starting that process right now, and I think it's really moving along very rapidly.
The Premier says in South Australia, work on AUKUS is proceeding full steam ahead. I welcome the strong endorsement of the Defence Pact from President Trump and members of his administration. This is undoubtedly a partnership that is in the interests of each of the three nations involved. Families considering a career for their son or daughter in defence industries can do so in the confidence this endeavour will be a lasting one and set their child up for a lifetime of employment and opportunity. The Treasurer, Tom Koutsantonis, will join us after 8:30 this morning. Lots to talk to him out of that meeting with regard to not just AUKUS, but the promise of millions of dollars for Nearstar in Port Pirie as part of the critical minerals deal. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the hydrogen plant, $500 million, and how much does a wind turbine cost, and where do you sell it? Not a wind turbine.
Are you interested in buying one?
I keep saying wind turbine, but these big turbines cost. We're going to get into all that with the Treasurer. Also, update today, not an update, but some finality with regard to the Troy Bell trial. The sentencing takes place today after 10 o'clock. Deanna Williams for 7 News will be in court, and Dee will join us to give us a preview in about 10 minutes' time.
Well, a second South Australian female prisoner has now come forward. There's an amazing piece in The Australian today about a woman at the Port Augusta prison who, for 6 months, was forced to share a cell with Krista Richards. Now, Krista Richards, as you well know, for most of her life was a man, Leslie Richards. She has a string of convictions for very serious violent crimes, which for some mystifying reason have been suppressed. The story broke last week about another woman who says that she was the victim of a serious sexual assault, that she was raped by Krista Richards, who, as a trans woman, has been given the right by our prison authorities to reside in an all-female jail. Well, the case is attracting a lot of attention, even international attention now, involving our next guest, Helen Joyce, who is a gender-critical activist, a best-selling author, former journalist with The Economist, and she was here in Adelaide this weekend for the Gender Healthcare Summit, which was one of the biggest conferences ever held in this country around trans issues. We have Helen on the line now. Helen, good morning, and great to be chatting to you, and thanks for your time. I'm not sure if you're aware, but our Premier described this as a niche issue. What do you think of that assessment of this issue?
I mean, it's not really a niche issue, is it, for a woman who's attacked, or for the other women in a place they can't get out of? I mean, a woman can't leave a jail, can she? And if it's a niche issue, then why are they doing it at all? If it doesn't matter whether a man who says he's a woman is held in a women's jail or a men's jail, then hold him in a men's jail. Like, why is it a niche issue when people complain, but not a niche issue when you're deciding to do it in the first place?
It does seem that in this case, all of the attention is going to to Krista Richards, and not much thought's being given to the women who find themselves in this situation where they have to coexist with her.
Exactly. And the prison wasn't set up. Women do not have women's prisons in order that women can perform femininity or validate their identities. Women are held separately in prison for human rights reasons. It's actually internationally recognised that if you hold men and women together in prisons, the women are going to be subjected to more and more serious crimes. Women cannot be kept safe in that sort of carceral environment if there are any men around. So it's absolutely a human rights abuse against women prisoners, and it's not just because they're putting men who've already committed crimes against women in those prisons. It's the presence of any man, any male prisoner in those prisons.
Do you think it's potentially a bit of a try on two? I mean, we've seen that case over the border in Victoria, where I know you're currently on a speaking tour over there in Melbourne. But that Victorian case where this bloke's done absolutely unspeakable things against his own daughter, and has now belatedly decided that maybe he's of the female persuasion. Like, do you think it creates a precedent whereby you might just see guys who have done terrible things, who are trying to go down this path to perhaps reside in an environment where A, they might feel more safe, but B, actually be in a position where they can prey on female inmates?
I mean, this is how loopholes work. When you open a loophole, it's not your average person or your most moral person who goes through it. It's people who like taking advantage of loopholes. So if you set up a regime where saying that you're a woman is going to get you moved to a women's prison, you know, what's the sort of person that we would expect to do that? And you're also, again, you're talking about people who we know have already committed crimes, people who are already willing to do antisocial things. And some people in the prison environment, well, they act in a way that is to cause trouble. They want to cause trouble for the whole system, for the people who are running the prison and so on. Of course, we're going to see people say this. I mean, why would they not? Like, how naive does somebody have to be to think they wouldn't?
In your book, Trans, When Ideology Meets Reality, you sort of talk about the sort of squeamishness that ostensibly progressive people have when they're confronted with some of these situations, like, you know, a trans woman being just dumped into a female jail. I think the Premier's comment about this being a niche issue, do you think that there's a sort of sense that people would just rather not talk about it, even though there does seem to be a lot of mainstream head shaking at the least and despair at its most extreme about the fact that these things are happening?
Yeah, because, I mean, this happened. This was done because people thought it was a progressive thing to do. And people heard the word trans woman. They thought that meant some sort of woman. And obviously, if somebody's a sort of woman, then you'd worry about putting them in a men's prison. Actually, trans woman just means man who says he's a woman. It's not a type of woman at all. There's no reason to hold that person anywhere except a men's prison. If it's someone who has made some medical changes or someone who presents themselves in a more feminine manner, then yes, you're going to have to be careful with that person in the men's prison. But there are lots of men you have to be careful with in men's prisons. I mean, you know, a young man, a gay man, a person who was a policeman, you know, a person who's committed a sex crime, all of these people have to be looked after very carefully in men's prisons. It's not exceptional, of course, we can do this. And but you do this and you move the person, and then you've created a problem that you now don't want to recognise because you did it because you thought you were being progressive. So you have to say that you were wrong, that it wasn't progressive, or else you have to actually say that sometimes progressive ideas aren't right. And it's easier to blame the people. It's easier to shoot the messenger.
And just finally, Helen, I mentioned the fact that you were here along with a lot of other high-profile speakers, a lot of them psychiatrists, adolescent psychiatrists at the Gender Healthcare Summit here in Adelaide. Can you tell us a little bit about that event? And the fact that it even happened, do you think it shows that there's a bit of a groundswell of people, professional people now, raising questions about the manner in which these issues are being handled?
Absolutely. I thought it was an excellent event. Really great speakers, fantastic energy in the room. And I know the feedback from the attendees, like the organisers shared with me that they had to look at the feedback and it was extremely positive. A lot of people are very worried about this issue. They know that children are being harmed. They know that women's rights are being destroyed. And they know that gay people's rights are being destroyed too. But if you say anything about it, you get told that you're a bigot, that you must be, you know, far right or whatever. So a lot of people are staying silent about it. And events like this break through that silence, help people to find each other, normalise talking about it, and also show politicians and policymakers that they've gone down the wrong path here and that people do care, that this is going to have consequences for them down the line electorally if they don't start listening and stop dismissing people by saying things like, that's a niche issue.
Author and gender critical activist Helen Joyce, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
17 minutes after 8. Stay listening. We haven't yet played our little bit of audio from the Royal Military Band. If you're the first caller through after hearing it, it could be you getting along to see the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo in Brisbane in February of next year with flights, accommodation, tickets all paid for. Thanks to Spark Travel. Plan your next getaway with the experts at Spark Travel, where every journey begins with a friendly conversation. That's not too far away. I tell you what, just glancing out to our east into Hindmarsh Square at the moment, it is dark out there.
Looks like nighttime.
Every single car that I've seen come through the intersection here has had its lights on. It's dark out there. Looking at the rain radar at the moment, the much of the western part of the state is just underneath a giant coloured rain cloud at the moment. I tell you what, out in Ceduna way, I think...
Not a rain bomb either, Will. It's just heavy rain, isn't it?
It's just not a rain bomb.
It's just lots of rain.
It's just a lot of rain. Well, it's just a storm, and the Bureau's been clear that there will be a storm today now.
Look at it over Kadina right now.
Exactly right. There is a rain band that's coming over that we're getting a bit of at the moment here in Adelaide, but I tell you what, there's an even bigger one on the way out the west.
It's streaky.
It's covering an area that
Ceduna
will essentially stretch from Port Lincoln to Port Augusta, I think, when it comes through. So it's a big one. We hope it's going to bring a fair whack of rain. 8 to 30 mils forecast by the Weather Bureau when we spoke to them a little bit earlier today. It is well and truly on the way. So if you're out on the roads, do take care. But it's a dark, stormy sort of a spring morning where it's still totally pleasant out there, at least temperature-wise, 16 degrees outside in the city at the moment. Let's check traffic, and when we return, we'll get the latest on Troy Bell's sentencing, expected to happen at 10 a.m. this morning. Deanna Williams from 7 News will join us. Browse undercover in comfort for your certified pre-owned Toyota at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Summerton Park.
Morning there. That rain is settling in this morning. Take it easy on really wet roads, and it's causing a heap of dramas on the roads too. Heaps of crashes. One at Crayford West, the freeway inbound near the Crayford ramp. Another one at Wingfield, the Salisbury Highway to the north-south motorway. Carvey motorcycle collision at Clovelly Park, South Road, Dillwells Road, and another collision at Enfield, Main North Road near Macca's. Take it easy on really wet conditions today. Are you moving house soon? Origin can make a hard job a little easier by helping you move your electricity, natural gas and internet in one easy call. Origin, all kinds of useful. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowie and Timmy G.
Our own Ange Oscar Coldblood. He's the second quickest to get removed as coach.
39 days.
The 5AA Sports Show.
So he's been paid out for 2 years and done
Tottenham.
39 days. It's about 14.3 million Australian.
Oh. Are you saying you're not feeling sorry for him?
Not anymore.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Australia's cheaper home batteries program is here, and it's your chance to save thousands on a new home battery system with NRG Solar. With up to 30% off a battery installation, NRG Solar can help you claim rebates worth up to $18,500. Whether you're adding a battery to existing solar or starting from scratch, this is the moment to say goodbye to your power bills for good. Visit nrgsolar.com.au or call 1300 858 160 and get ready for lower bills and real energy independence.
The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months. At FIVEAA Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, FIVEAA Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for FIVEAA Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
Ever find insurance confusing, whether it's for your car, home, investment, property or boat? Sometimes you just want to speak to a real person, and that's where RAA can help.
How good are real people? With a dedicated call centre in Mile End, that's just down the road, Mile End, and shops across SA, RAA are all about genuine conversations with members. When you get a quote online, over the phone or in person, you'll always get friendly, reliable service.
So chat to a local about your insurance today. Call RAA on 8202 4567 or visit in-store. Issued by RAA on behalf of Allianz South Australia Insurance Limited. T's and C's, limits and exclusions apply. Consider the PDS available with the TMD at raa.com.au.
Still thinking about a sea change? Think Oakford Homes in Counter Bay. New stage released and selling fast. A variety of block sizes available in a friendly community with brand new low maintenance homes plus the beach close by. Affordable packages, no surprises, move in now or invest for the future. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land ready to build. Don't miss out. New stage now released. Visit our display village at Encounter Bay. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
Doing day-to-day things online has made our lives easier. Paying bills, shopping, banking. It all makes perfect sense to do online. But what doesn't make sense is doing your will online. It's fraught with potential problems and can leave a mess behind. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers can answer your questions and help carry out your final wishes properly. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com, Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes after 8, we're expecting a little bit later this morning to hear, and you will hear it here on 5AA, a verdict. Well, not a verdict, but the sentencing in the case of Troy Bell, the member from Mount Gambier, who has been up on fraud charges. Deanna Williams has been covering this for 7 News. You'll see her report from 6 o'clock tonight as well. Dee, I understand you're already at the court. So just walk us through the range of outcomes that we might hear today.
Good morning, boys. Yes, I'm already here at the District Court. The doors are about to open in about 10 minutes' time. We're expecting Troy Bell here today at some time. I expect he'll be early, as he has been for other appearances. He faces significant jail time this morning, boys. For 20 counts of fraud, 10 years per count, and for 5 counts of dishonestly dealing with documents, 15 years per count. Now, it's unlikely he'll get that amount for each count, but he is really facing a significant jail time this morning.
So he pleaded not guilty, didn't he, Deanna?
He pleaded not guilty and went to trial 7 years after he was arrested back in 2017. The trial lasted for 3 months. It was a pretty harrowing trial, as you can imagine, for the jurors. 3 months of pretty labour-intensive numbers that they had to crunch through. They eventually came back with 25 guilty verdicts against him. It's a significant day for state politics today and for Troy Bell.
And there's not going to be a by-election, though, is it? Is there? Because
no, there's not. He stood down. He stood down from Parliament, and the government decided it was too costly. Up to $1 million it would have cost for a by-election, and decided it was too costly to send voters to the polls so close to a state election. So that will happen at or after the election.
Has any statement been made, Dee, about avenues for appeal or likelihood of that?
He already has been through the appeal process in the Supreme Court, and the Court of Appeal will. There is another avenue, and it's unclear at this stage if he's going to go that way, and that is the High Court. We haven't heard yet whether that is a possibility, but that is also an option that's open to him.
He'd need deep pockets for that.
Absolutely, and he's already forked out a significant amount of money. He's already said he's obviously facing bankruptcy. He's lost his house. He has the toll on him professionally and personally has been huge.
Which is probably, I imagine, is something that will be taken into account when you hear sentencing remarks today, Dee.
That'll be part of mitigating circumstances for the judge to consider when he does sentence Troy Bell. The fact that he has been a politician, long-standing politician, a member for Mount Gambier, a married man with children. All of those things are taken into account, but he did find, the jury did find him guilty on those 25 counts. A significant penalty is expected to be handed down today.
Well, it's going to be a massive story, Deanna. We look forward to hearing all about it on 7 News tonight. Deanna Williams there, court reporter for Channel 7. So apparently his office manager, Troy Bell's office manager, a guy called Travis Fatchen, he's announced that he is going to run as an independent for the seat of Mount Gambier at the state election in March. He might benefit from the fact that with Bell now having gone, Fatchen has been effectively acting as the de facto local member. And that might be something that he puts in his campaign material in a seat that, I mean, you know, there's almost a de facto secessionist movement in the southeast.
Yes.
Dating back to the great Renfrey Kurjan Vindagaris back in the day. Best name ever by an Australian politician. But that sense of otherness, it's always favoured independence. It's still a volatile place politically. So who knows? Does it automatically revert to the Libs?
I think if recent political history has taught us anything, once something goes independent, it's hard to win it back.
Well, the other thing, Bell won the seat. He held the seat with all this hanging over his head.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you're accused of swindling a charity funded by your constituents and your vote goes up.
Yeah. You'd imagine an independent with no such speculation hanging over their head would certainly be a strong chance, but that'll be... It's just
Fraser Ellis too.
Fraser Ellis as well.
Not prejudging him, but, you know, it doesn't seem to be a black mark against your name.
This is why the task is so difficult with Vincent Tarsi numerically, because he's fighting the Labor Party in metro seats and he's fighting in independents in the outer area, in regional areas, and the arguments that need to be made are often very, very different. All right, we're going to take a break. 5AA News is coming up in a moment. The Treasurer of South Australia, Tom Koutsantonis.
Harris Scarf Friends' greatest brand sale is on now. Save up to 40% on full-priced floor care by Shark. From powerful vacuums to steam mops, make cleaning your home simple. Don't miss these huge savings. Sale ends soon. Conditions apply. Harris Scarf. Great brands, great prices.
Not every conversation stays with you. This one will. Join Stephen Bartlett as he asks the questions no one else asks. Search The Diary of a CEO wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Dr. Benji from the Child and Adolescent Virtual Urgent Care Service. You know, a hospital might not always be the best place to get the right care. There are now more care options available than ever, like 24/7 pharmacies, urgent care clinics, and virtual care services with people like me. It's all part of building a bigger health system. To find out what's happening near you, visit biggerhealthsystem.sa.gov.au.
A message from the Government of South Australia.
Get ready, Adelaide. The four-wheel drive and adventure show is on, and TJM is bringing the heat. Score 20% off bull bars, suspensions, snorkels, plus the entire TJM protection range. Minimum 20% off TJM camp gear, plus freebies on swags and rooftop tents. Specials on GME radios and Rhino rack, and free light bars with every Rhino platform. Mirrors, long-range tanks, HSP roll covers, and exclusive American truck deals. Only at TJM, this weekend only at the Wavell Showgrounds, Stand W8.
Living in a big home in an older block that's seen better days, or maybe you've just picked up a fixer-upper on a generous slice of land. Well, Metro Homes SA, Adelaide's custom design builder, has a clever solution.
They'll knock down the old place and build 2 brand new homes on the block. You sell one, move where you want, and keep the other as an investment. It's downsizing and building your future, all in one smart move.
And the best part, Metro takes care of the whole lot. Design, planning, council approvals, the works. They make it easy because they've done it all before.
If you're ready to unlock the potential in your property without the stress, go Metro. Visit metrohomesa.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Rain with the storm developing today and 26 with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Keep in shape with physio-instructed clinical Pilates and gym classes at 6 locations. physioextra.com.
The deluge we're expecting today is already making its presence felt in the west of the state. There have been patchy falls across the metro area. Jenny Horvat from the Weather Bureau says thunderstorms are set to develop in the coming hours.
And with that, those rainfall tools could be a little bit more significant. So we could be seeing around 30 millimetres or so potentially with those storms. But as that low sits a little bit further south, they may stay south of the city with those heavier falls, but it's just going to be a highly variable situation.
There's been a stabbing at Croydon Park. Police were called to Hudson Avenue shortly before 2 this morning. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says a man was stabbed in the chest following an altercation with another man.
A 54-year-old Croydon Park man was taken to hospital for treatment, and luckily his injury is only superficial. And we just want to reassure the community this was not a random incident, that these men are both known to each other.
A 53-year-old has been charged with aggravated assault. A drug driver has been arrested in the CBD. Just before 5 this morning, security cameras detected a vehicle driving erratically with lights off and not responding to traffic light changes. A patrol stopped and spoke to the driver in Guja Street. It will be alleged the man was under the influence of drugs. Officers searched his vehicle and found drug paraphernalia. The 36-year-old Prospect man also had an outstanding warrant and will face court today. A high-stakes meeting between Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and the US President at the White House is being hailed a success. More from Washington correspondent Lauren Tomasi.
This was warm and welcoming, and from the outset, Anthony Albanese was praised by Donald Trump. The pair beginning their talks with the signing of an $8.5 billion deal on critical minerals. And there came the guarantee that the AUKUS nuclear submarine pact will be going ahead. There was an awkward moment, though, inside the room. Donald Trump asked about Ambassador Kevin Rudd, who has in the past been vocal about not liking the US president. He told the ambassador he didn't like him either. But when the cameras went down, an apology came, and behind closed doors, things appeared to be smoothed over. Today's talks being hailed a success.
Those with Parkinson's disease are nearly 3 times more likely to suffer from chronic pain. New research has found 2/3 of patients report pain symptoms when probed. Associate Professor Miguel Renteria says medical practitioners need to be aware.
Not something that it's routinely screened for in the clinic. With our study, we wanted to raise awareness about how prevalent and disruptive to quality of life this symptom is, so that in clinical practice, neurologists and general practitioners take the time to ask people about symptoms of pain.
Amazon says its systems are back online again after connectivity issues. Several websites and apps, including Snapchat, Facebook and Fortnite, were impacted. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
At Agostino Mitsubishi, get $2,500 cash bonus on Eclipse Cross PHEV. T's and C's apply.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Australia's cricketers will train here in Adelaide today as they prepare for Thursday's one-dayer against India. The Aussies currently lead the three-match series 1-0. Meantime, South Australia's enjoyed a comfortable 9-wicket win against Queensland in their rain-affected match at Karen Rolton Oval yesterday. Well, winning Caulfield Cup, winning jockey Jamie Mellom admits she's still pinching herself after becoming the first ever woman to win the race. Mellom now has 18 Group 1s and has told Rowie and Timmy G to take it out was something special.
You don't think about that going into the race really at all, but then after crossing the line and, the headlines you hear afterwards, you're like, yeah, nearly 150 years and I'm the first one. That's very special, definitely to go down in the history books.
Supercars drivers have arrived on the Gold Coast ahead of the first ever final series. The rankings for the top 10 rankings have been reset and the bottom 3 ranked drivers will be eliminated after this week's 3 races. Fourth seed Cam Waters says drivers that aren't in contention will still be out to take the checkered flag.
People that aren't in the finals are going to be going out there to try and win races and finish their years off strong.
Let's go to tennis. Aussie Alex de Minaur has brought up a major milestone, winning his 300th ATP Tour match of his career. That was at the Vienna Open with a straight sets win over Austria's Yuri Rodionov. He admits it's a special achievement.
It's a pretty cool moment to get to 300. Obviously, it's been what seems to be a long career, and I've enjoyed these 300 wins.
De Minaur is now into the round of 16. And one game in the English Premier League this morning, West Ham's woes at home continuing, going down 2-0 to Brentford. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
That wet weather has really settled in this morning, so take it easy. Got a heap of crashes around with that too. One at Wingfield, the Salisbury Harbour to the North-South Motorway. Another one at Boulevard, the Northern Expressway to the Wingfield interchange. Carby motorcycle crash at Clovelly Park on South Road near Dawes Road. Another collision at Enfield, that's near Macca's on Main North Road. Camera 2 this morning, Valley Road at Hope Valley. Choose Cartex fuels with Techron to keep your engine running smoothly. Proven to clean and protect your engine while you drive. Give your car the Cartex with Techron cleaning treatment today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
Staycation for a vacation? Stay with CMAX. Visit cmax.com.au to sign up today.
26 today, but rain with a storm developing. A possible early storm and showers tomorrow 18, Thursday partly cloudy 19 and 23 on Friday. Right now it's 17 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Is stress clouding your mind, making it hard to focus? Caruso's Ashwagandha plus L-theanine to the rescue. Caruso's Ashwagandha plus L-theanine is a great combination to relieve stress, calm the mind and support mental clarity, concentration and focus. And it works fast, calming the mind in just 3 hours without drowsiness. So if you're fed up with feeling stressed and unable to concentrate, try Caruso's Ashwagandha plus L-theanine today. Now available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
When you've been around for over a century, you know a thing or two. And South Australian Business Chamber and Ray White have almost 300 years between them. So when an alliance is formed between South Australian Business Chamber and Ray White Business Sales SA, all that experience flows to you. This ensures you're in top shape, whether you're buying, selling, or somewhere in between. Touch base with the experts. Search Ray White Business Sales SA. Proudly partnered with South Australian Business Chamber.
Your old hot water system can drive as much as 40% of your energy bill. Fortunately, you can upgrade to something that's 70% cheaper to run thanks to Right Price. They're the leaders in heat pumps and installation. Now's the time to upgrade and save money on a more efficient hot water system and take advantage of government incentives and free installation. Reduce your energy costs today with a heat pump from Right Price. Make the switch with Right Price Hot Water.
At Right Price, heating and cooling, you can get the price right at Right Price.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
21 minutes to 9. If you're watching on the Facebook and YouTube live stream, you'll note we have the Treasurer of South Australia, Tom Koutsantonis, in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us. Treasurer, good morning to you.
How are you, Pembo? Good to see you, Treasurer. Can I just start by reading out the front page of the Advertiser to you? Premier's Green Dream, now $500 million waste nightmare. Mallee's $500 million hydro bomb. That's pretty damning, is it not? And it's more damning because it's come from the Auditor General, not the Libs.
Well, it depends on your perspective. We've got assets out of that. I mean, the idea that it's wasted, I just don't accept. And the Auditor General says that in his report as well. He says, look, you guys are not counting the value of the assets that we've purchased here. And I'll give you two examples. First one's the generators. They're worth $250 million. And to buy a new set of generators today, you're waiting 3 years. So,
but who's going to use it? The bit I don't understand is who's going to use the generators, who's going to use the turbines, what's happening with them?
Well, the generators are the turbines, right? So they're the same thing. So generators, turbines, they're 4 units of 50 megawatt gas-fired turbines, all right? And they can go anywhere. We've got a process now to sell them. They've got to be placed here in South Australia. We've done a body of work that shows to purchase these generators today, there's a 3-year wait. We're getting ours in December, January and February. They're arriving in South Australia. They're under warranty. These things are exceptionally valuable, and there are a number of companies that are very, very keen to have them. The other part of the infrastructure that the Auditor General talks about is $125 million in electrical infrastructure. Well, what's that mean? We upgraded substations and transmission lines because we worked out when we were building the hydrogen jobs plan that if we connected our generator and electrolyser, we would take up all the spare capacity that was in the Upper Spencer Gulf for all new developments. And we didn't have to spend $1. But that would have meant anyone else wanted to build anything like the steelworks, like an electric arc furnace or a direct iron reduction facility to replace a blast furnace, you'd have no capacity. So we upgraded the electrical infrastructure as well. So it wasn't part of the project. We just did it while we were there to upgrade the infrastructure. And the contingent liability the Auditor General is talking about is we would have to pay that $125 million over the next 10, 15 years if no one else builds anything in Whyalla. Now, of course, we've got $1.9 billion with the Commonwealth Government to upgrade the steelworks. And that means they won't have to spend $125 million upgrading it. It's ready to go, and they'll just pay those tariffs.
So are you saying that federal money eclipses whatever money the state has lost through this project?
I don't think anyone's lost anything out of this project.
Well, the Auditor General seems to think you have.
Yeah, but if you read his report, he says in there that you're not counting the assets that they've purchased as part of this project. So if you're looking at the project as a standalone and you don't do anything with these, if you don't use the generators and you don't use electrical infrastructure, you can characterise it the way it's being characterised by the Liberals. But the truth is, they're assets and they're a value to the state, and we're going to use them.
He didn't value though the actual turbines in his report, did he?
No,
so that's 250 is your number, and they're not sold yet.
No, well, we know what we paid for them.
Yeah, and you get second hand. You're going to get the same amount.
Pre-loved turbines.
No. These things have not been used. This is just basically a transfer. So they're brand new and they're under warranty and they have a lot of value. People are falling over to get these things. And I might point out our opponents have already announced that if they are elected, they want to buy 200 megawatts worth of generation, which they are now calling a waste, which I think is a bit ironic, to be honest.
If we've almost already spent $500 million on this plan that wasn't going to proceed, we were never getting a hydrogen plant for the 593 promised before the election, were we?
Oh, you're counting things that are outside the project. Like that $125 million was not part of the hydrogen jobs plan. It was part of us making sure we had enough infrastructure up there to upgrade the steelworks, because the entire jobs plan was about the steelworks. It was about making sure we can decarbonise the steelworks. This blast furnace we got up there is at the end of life. Right, no one's relining a blast furnace anytime soon. So we've got to change the way we make steel. So it's going to be direct iron reduction using gas, and it's going to use an electric arc furnace. Now, electric arc furnace is about $200 to $300 million to purchase. A DRI plant is about $1.25 billion. So there's a lot of money to go in there, but you need the electrical infrastructure to power it, which is what we invested in.
We've been dissecting the Albanese-Trump meeting overnight, and there is some good news out of that. It was actually a couple of bits of good news in that for South Australia. One being AUKUS, obviously, some clarity around the White House's position on AUKUS. The other is interesting, the critical minerals deal. So $1 billion from the US, $1 billion from Australia to unlock some projects that are already ready to go. Ultimately, $8.5 billion for a pipeline of critical minerals projects. One of those we understand that's ready to go is Nearstar at Port Pirie. What can you tell us about what this injection of just over $100 million, I think, is going to mean for that?
Well, I can let you guys know exclusively now. We've spoken to Tim Ayres' office. Port Pirie is in the pipeline. The Nearstar plant is in the pipeline, announced by the Prime Minister and the President overnight. And what we want to do there is make antimony. Antimony is a metal that's used to harden bullets and shells. It's very, very important. And China has a 99% monopoly on this metal. US stockpiles have fallen because of the war in Ukraine, and you can only make it from a lead smelter. There are no active lead smelters. There's no lead smelters in the United States right now. Only one in Canada and Mexico, and very few in Europe. So Australia, part of the Five Eyes, it's critical that we augment Nearstar's operations at Port Pirie to be able to make antimony. We've got a trial going. The US is very, very keen, especially the Department of Defence is very, very keen to make sure that Australia can produce not just critical minerals, but critical metals. And that's where Nearstar comes in. So that's a big tick for us and a big win. We can't allow one country to have the global monopoly on something that our defence forces, the Western defence forces in the world, absolutely need. You imagine this crazy scenario where we go to war and we have to ask our potential adversaries for the raw materials we need to harden our weapons.
The last couple of years, Minister, the only reason Nearstar's been in the paper most of the time is because there's been, portents of doom and collapse around it. Does this give it a really quite clear economic future?
It does. It gives it purpose. And most importantly, Nearstar on its own, in a normal market situation, is profitable. What we've got here is a country to our north, China, who is deliberately paying above the odds for the raw materials. So they're increasing the cost of the raw materials that they need. And when they're processing those raw materials in China to making metals, they're dumping the costs. So they're making it cheaper. So every miner who mines the raw materials for lead and zinc are sending their materials directly to China because they get paid more and they get charged less to process them into metals. So they're using their taxpayers and their banks to subsidise manufacturing and mining for themselves while trying to bankrupt our smelters. So, if China behaved the way any normal market economy would, our smelter here would be profitable and we wouldn't have put $1 into it. But because they're doing this and because it's a strategic metal that we need for our defence sector, we have to step in. We can't allow this to occur. We need the sovereignty of making sure we can provide this for ourselves and for our allies to defend ourselves.
Trump's made it clear, full steam ahead with AUKUS. One of the terms of the AUKUS deal, I can't remember the exact date, maybe 2035, rings a bell, but one part of Australia is going to have to take in spent nuclear fuel, the byproduct of having nuclear subs. As Treasurer, I know you're quite insistent on wanting to retain mines and energy. You've spoken out in the past about being, I don't think agnostic's the right word, maybe evangelical about nuclear power. Is that something where the state, we've got a perfectly serviceable Kevin Scarce report, gather and dust in the corner somewhere. Should we reopen that discussion?
The only way you can do it is you need public consent and you need bipartisan support. The Weatherall government did this report and we thought to ourselves, what part of the nuclear life cycle can we get into? We've got the world's largest reserves of uranium. Why don't we have a look at this? We did a Royal Commission, and the then martial opposition made it pretty clear that there'd been no bipartisan support. We're talking about an industry that's going to last hundreds of years, right? You can't have one Labor government in a snapshot in time saying, yeah, we want to do this. You would need to have the public on board, and you would need to have the opposition on board. And thus far, I have not seen that. So this is now up to the Prime Minister and the Commonwealth Government about where they would store this. I know Dan Andrews would say you store it where the jobs are, so you put it in South Australia. But my view is now the nation has to have a discussion about this. what are we going to do with our spent nuclear waste? If we are going to start building nuclear submarines, where are we going to put our waste? Well, we have a responsibility to look after our own things, right? It's not about taking the world.
Say too, if we're going to look after our waste, can't we look after other people's too and make a whole stack of money?
Well, we can't have nice things in Australia, can we? I think the idea of going up the value chain is a good idea, but you can't do it on your own. You can't do it in isolation. You need the permission of the public, and you need the permission of every political party, because this industry, once it starts, you can't just turn it off. So it's a big long-term commitment. And the permission in Australia is not there, and you can't force it on the public.
Yeah, it's written in the document. We have to do it, so we're going to have the conversation.
Well, the Prime Minister and his government are going to have to go around and start having this conversation nationally. Which state, where will we put this? Where's the safest? I mean, first things principles are you let the scientists and the environmental scientists decide, and the geologists, where is the most geologically stable, safest place to store Australia's waste. You do that assessment, and then you work backwards from the reapprovals, right? So it's not, you can't use political ideology or some state saying, we'll have it unless you've got the most appropriate place to store it. Now, South Australia and Western Australia tick a lot of those boxes, and so does the NT. But that doesn't matter now for the Commonwealth government to look at. Am I opposed to us storing our own waste? No, I am not. It's the responsible thing to do. If you make waste, you should be able to store it somewhere safely.
You can always put it in a safe Liberal seat too.
They're good people. They're good people. And their eyes are turning towards the sunlight.
There's some of those big 2,000 square metre houses down there sort of on the corner of Crossroad and Unley Road. You could put some in there.
They're in Labor seats.
Unley Park?
Unley Park, no. Boothby's a Labor seat. Boothby and Adelaide are Labor seats.
Have you ever gone back and just daydreamed now, certainly maybe your former time as Treasurer or this time as Treasurer, and just thought about, I've went back recently and read the pages of the Kevin Scarce report about how many billions of dollars it would be worth to the South Australian budget to have this industry, and what it would mean in terms of debt, in terms of infrastructure.
You'd be debt free. You'd have no debt. You'd be Western Australia turbocharged.
That's a pretty compelling argument.
You said turbo, not us. Just noting.
Oh, yeah. It's become a term of endearment. It's like Honest John Howard. Honest Johnny.
Yeah. The Libs are calling you Turbine, Tom, now. I've changed your nickname.
Well, I mean, look, we're getting close to an election, so they're going to get agitated and excited. That's all part of the process.
Yep, not long to go now. All right, we'll have another one of these monthly catch-up soon. Treasurer Tom Keats-Toners, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Browse undercover and comfort for your certified pre-owned Toyota at the new Jarvis Toyota, Brighton Road, Summerton Park.
Morning there. That rain is settling in for the morning. Take it easy on really wet roads for the drive-in. Heap of crashes around 2-1 at Crafers West, the freeway inbound just past the Crafers ramp. Another one at Boulevard, the Northern Expressway to the Wingfield interchange. And Carby motorcycle crash at Cleverley Park this morning, South Road near Dawes Road. Cameras Dooth East Road, Melbourne, and North East Road at St Agnes. Do you or someone you care for need complex mental health support? Sane can help. Choose from a range of free digital and telehealth support services. Visit sane.org today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The biggest serve of the season returns as the Adelaide International hits home from January 12 to 17. Some of the biggest names in tennis compete in a world-class event under the roof at the Drive. Plus live music, delicious food, refreshing drinks and premium courtside experiences. And another massive Kids Day to kick off the event. Summer starts courtside in Adelaide. Tickets from just $10 and kids free for select sessions. Book now at Ticketmaster.
When it comes to reducing pain and rebuilding strength, Kiesa leaves nothing to chance. Our university-qualified health professionals don't just treat problem areas. They design personalised training programs using Swiss-engineered machines unique to Kiesa. These machines safely isolate the affected area, test your strength, and help rebuild your muscles for a stronger, more active and healthier life. Kiesa, building strength with precision in Norwood.
It's a tragic fact. Unused clothes and shoes can lie forgotten in cupboards and drawers for years. Cold, dark, alone. But on Saturday, November 1st, you can set your unused clothes free at South Australia's biggest textile recycling event. Simply pack up your clean, good quality garments and linens and drop them off at your nearest collection point between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Saturday, November 1st. To find your nearest collection point, visit greenindustries.sa.gov.au.
They say one of life's biggest decisions is buying a home. But sometimes the hardest one is leaving it. At Anglicare SA, we're here to help you stay where you belong, at home. We offer support for everyday things like cleaning, gardening, cooking, but are also experts in care management, allied health, and clinical nursing. Because we believe there's no place like home. Let us help you stay where your heart is. Find out more at Anglicare SA. You are at home.
This year, Mannix Air Conditioning celebrates 60 years as a proud South Australian family business.
Well, Neville Mannix started it all back in 1965. He's still involved today alongside 3 children and 7 grandchildren. For 6 decades, Mannix has been the name you know and trust for air conditioning and solar, winning over 100 state and national sales awards along the way.
Lovely bloke, lovely family. It's a great family business. They've got 5 stores across Adelaide, so Mannix should always be your first port of call. From designing and installing the perfect system to stocking leading brands like Fujitsu, Panasonic, Mitsubishi and Bonaire.
They've installed more than 5,000 solar and battery systems, and because they buy in bulk, you'll always get the best price. And if something goes wrong, well, their fast, efficient service team is ready to help. Congrats to everyone at Mannix on 60 years of keeping South Australians comfortable.
There's surprisingly big offers at Hyundai, like the Tucson from $39,990 drive away. Visit your participating Hyundai dealer today.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
5 minutes to 9. Congrats to Erica from Paradise, who's in the draw to win the tickets, flights and accommodation to see the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo in Brisbane. All thanks to Spark Travel. Plan your next getaway with the experts at Spark Travel, where every journey begins with a friendly conversation. Erica, the first to call through, having heard the Royal Military Band. A few texts coming through following our chat with the Treasurer.
Yep, a lot of feedback. One here from Daniel in Glynde. Could SA have a referendum on nuclear waste storage and uranium processing? If the parties were taken out of this, I think the population would vote for it. One here, I love it how when it comes to storing nuclear waste, the minister says the people don't want it, so we can't force it on them. We need them on side. Well, I wish politicians had this attitude when it comes to other stupid decisions they make on our behalf, like green energy or immigration. They don't mind forcing things on us and telling us that we need it. We need a clear majority when the population doesn't want it. One here saying... what about the wages paid to workers at the hydrogen plant who were just standing around because they were planning to scrap it, especially the CEO? Bill says, Coots and Toners talks well, but when are my electricity prices coming down? One says, never mind lack of critical minerals. What about Australia's fuel storage capacity of only 28 days? And one here, Coots is so much better under Malley. He's positive and delivers simplified explanations from Jackie. And another one simply says, can you get this bloke off the air? Something for everyone.
Appreciate all your texts. 0448 08 1395 Police Home Care text line. Let's have a look at the fuel situation on this Tuesday morning. Better to be a member with RAA Road Service. Cheapest is at the United Main North Road Paraka, and it's really good, $1.52.5 if you don't mind. Otherwise, you can get it for under $1.55 in a few places. The Shell OTR Peterhead, $1.54.9, and the Shido Park, the Mobil at Shido Park, $1.54.5. The cheapest diesel is the Mobil at Hampstead Gardens. That one's at $1.65.5.
Is the Golden Bachelor on your channel?
What's the Golden Bachelor?
It's the Bachelor with an old guy from Canada whose wife is a widow, and his father of 3. He's called Bear, but they've tweaked it this year. So Bear is trying to find true love in later in life, and all of the women on the program are in their 50s and 60s.
Right.
Some of them look like they're playing with Confederate money. In fact, I think the show could be sponsored by Silicon Australia.
Mm-hmm.
A few women got lips that look a little bit like they've just been hauled in off the...
Not all original parts is what you're saying.
That's right. But I started watching it last night. I thought I can actually see myself getting interested in the show.
Wow. Dating show David.
Yeah, I've never watched one before, but Kate and I were watching it, and I thought, when you get to the life story part, I mean, there's some shocking conduct as well. There's some nymphomaniac woman who's running around on horseback wearing a white bikini. It's like, come on, dear.
You're right.
You're
When
not 18.
People in their 50s have a story to tell as opposed to a dating show from the unlucky in love 21-year-old.
Yeah,
it's never worked out for me.
Love Island. I wonder how their kids feel like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, kids, I got to tell you something. I'm going on a dating show.
You impeccably left the revelation of your dating show interest until 90 seconds to 9 o'clock.
I think
it couldn't get further analysis. But
text in, folks, or call in tomorrow if you've become weirdly addicted to the Golden Bachelor. We want to hear your views on it tomorrow on the program.
That and so much more tomorrow morning from 6 o'clock. We'll catch you then.
Coming up next on